only hope was to get involved, even if it was something simple. So I began reading the newspaper and instantly got feeling back in my arm. I guess you could say I'm living proof you can fight mannequinism.
Protect yourself from mannequinism. Log on to fightmannequinism.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
My name's Rachel.
The result is for the team. It's not for myself, so it's good for us to, win, grind it out. Even though we didn't play the prettiest of football, he gave me the opportunity to play Division I soccer, which is what I wanted to do my whole life. It's a goal of mine to reach my dream of playing professional, and he has made me the smartest footballer I can be.
That's what I want to see. Like, everyone wants to see that confidence.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into 209 Sports. I'm kind of debating on how I wanted to start this show today because for multiple reasons. One, Kyle is late as usual. Nothing new.
Got to keep
Look, what time are we on?
209.
209 Sports. Yeah.
See?
Way to go.
Perfect timing.
That is absolute the worst timing and the worst joke in the world.
Well, I'm just saying, somebody isn't pressed for time and have been lazy all day.
I've been working all week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can't say that this week.
Hey, listen. Going to Disneyland... Linda, listen. Going to Disneyland is work. Let me tell you how bad my feet hurt.
Yeah, well... Go ahead. I'm waiting.
Oh, they hurt pretty bad.
Okay. I was kind of waiting for a joke, but apparently the joke was just that your feet hurt.
They really hurt, yeah.
Come on. I'm having computer issues today, apparently.
Technical difficulties?
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
Getting a few things in there. So, a lot to cover today and tonight, because later tonight, obviously, we'll have basketball, men's basketball. Santa Clara is going to be starting off. Baseball is in full swing.
Yes, it is.
Pacific Tigers, congratulations goes out to Ryan Garko, his first career win. Big deal here is that they get their first win on the road of this season. They only had 2 wins on the road last season. They're in prime shape to get a second win today too. They're playing on the top of the 5th right now. Pacific leads 3-2 over Seattle University. Seattle's a pretty good team.
Now
the Red Hawks.
They started the season out on the road. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. No. I know you're excited about it. You're there all the time when they're home, and from what you and I have discussed, I think it's got the potential to be a great season for them.
It's got an opportunity. Just as a reminder, now this will be completely up to Kyle's discretion if we want to make up this time, but there won't be a 209 Sports next weekend. Just because I'm running a triple header in all of sports. I'm working basketball, baseball for the last part of however long I've got baseball, and then I'll work the second game of the baseball, the doubleheader as well. So I'll be busy from 12 until 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. So obviously Saturday's out.
Oh, perfect. I have plans.
Oh, all of a sudden?
Going to a tattoo convention.
Oh, okay. So that works out for you.
It does.
That's good.
I was going to save the discussion for later, but since
we're going to call it out on the air, might as well, right?
Sure, let's roll.
Dilly.
So it's kind of hard to really kind of start off where to go with this, because also women's basketball has actually already tipped off as well. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter. It's 8-6 Santa Clara over Pacific women's basketball. Tonight will be men's basketball. Kids are getting jerseys over for the first 1,000 fans or something like that. Their first 100 kids. I don't know. Go to PacificTigers.com. They'll give you all the information. So, but there are a great feature. And I know this one always gives when Santa Clara comes to town, you get a lot of good road fans as well. So this will be fun.
Yeah. No, it's always nice when you can have a good crowd from both sides. It makes the event that much more exciting, you know?
Yep.
And that's always a plus for college sports.
You know what impressed me last weekend? The Portland Pilots were in town. And I'm thinking, Portland Pilots, not a big sell as far as the market goes when you have Portland Pilots versus Pacific Tigers. Pacific Tigers are pretty decent. We're going to get into this a little bit later too, and I'm starting to show off obviously a lot of Stockton stuff because there's a lot going on this weekend and next weekend. I just actually looked down the list and I was like, wow, I'm pretty shocked on how much, because you've got baseball today, you've got softball going on. Pacific Tigers softball is absolutely on a march right now. They were winning today. They swept yesterday 2 games in a tournament. They went 3-2 over the tournament in last weekend. And so they're doing pretty well. So there's a lot of things going on right now here in the local area, especially when it goes to the University of Pacific. Softball in Delta is going on. Baseball in Delta is going on. Delta baseball always primed to go into the Elite Eight, the Final Four, in their respective conferences in the junior college program. So a lot of things.
Quick correction on the jerseys that you were talking about being given away. It is the first 1,000 kids.
Oh, I started to say 1,000, and I wasn't sure.
No, it's
because it didn't sound right.
It's the first 1,000 kids tonight at 8 p.m. is when the game starts. I'm sure the doors are going to open a little early. You do have to go to UOP.com to
PacificTigers.com.
PacificTigers.com. Excuse me, to get the details. But yeah, it's first 1,000 kids.
There you go. So, just a lot of stuff going on right now at the University of Pacific. So just, if you get an opportunity, go out and see something, because something is always going on right now. Right now is the prime spot.
It's an
just
exciting,
like fall.
It's an exciting time for spring sports to be in full swing for local colleges and
JUCO.
Yeah. And you know, I know we both look forward to it, because that means spring's here, summer's coming.
Baseball starting. I mean, you're more excited, of course, the San Francisco Giants and the Major League sports.
Sure, no.
And local. I mean, there's Sacramento River Cats, there's Stockton Ports.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that, you know, when we go out, because there's always so much that we look at when we're at a game. We're like, you know, it's real easy to coach from the cheap seats, but we don't really coach. It's like we look at things. And
we analyze more than we coach.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I mean, I'm more analyzing.
No, and that's become fun, you know, when we do it, because of course we're us.
That's who we are.
Yeah. And you know how we do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I'm geared up and ready to go for sure.
So kind of switching gears and kind of going back to the NFL, because for whatever reason, the NFL's been done for a couple weeks now, and congratulations being able to survive a Sunday without any kind of football going on, and here we got one more weekend going on. Speaking of which, we're watching the race on one of our many monitors here in the Dominic Studios. We're watching the race currently, I want to call them the Nextel Series, but they're not the Nextel Series, but it's the class before NASCAR Winston Cup, or not a Winston Cup anymore, it's a Monster Energy Cup, but that's what I'm used to. But anyways, it's like I would say that the AAA of racing.
The Busch League?
Because Busch League means that I'm going to throw one high and tight, but...
No, I forget. They've changed the name so much in NASCAR, so it's hard to keep up with it anymore, you know what I mean?
Well, but not only that, I've got a... there's so many changes in just the regular, our NASCAR that we're going to be going over too, because I just found out who we thought, Chase Elliott, he doesn't race 24 anymore.
I saw that.
1 year, and then all of a sudden he went to number 9.
Number 9.
In honor of his dad and stuff like that, but kind of went, oh, wait a minute. So we're going to talk about the Daytona 500 that happens tomorrow, but yeah, back to the quarterback situation in the NFL. This is going to be kind of one of the most rough shot quarterback carousel, kind of like what we're seeing with NASCAR and how many changes are going on. I think that we're going to see a lot of that with the quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think that obviously Kirk Cousins headlines the whole thing right now.
Right now. Well, he's got a little, I mean, yes, he does.
And when that shoe falls, then everything else kind of opens up. But he's like, everyone's kind of like, where's he going to go first? Everyone asks that question first.
I don't, you know, what made it real interesting is that A.J. McCarron won his grievance against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's become an unrestricted free agent.
We'll backpedal a little bit on this, is that A.J. McCarron, the reason what grievance he filed was that he felt that he was eligible to play the 2014 season. He cleared the protocol in order to be physically able to perform and be on an active roster. They held him out and put him on injured reserve. He was able to win that grievance, and now that puts him, that year of eligibility, it basically puts him out to an unrestricted free agent status where they can't do anything to him. And that also, so that adds another quarterback to this whole possibility of a carousel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the scary part, because I don't know. I think A.J. McCarron might be the first quarterback signed.
I wouldn't doubt that. But I just say that, because here's the thing, is that I kind of start to wonder if Cleveland, because Cleveland, and if you heard Joe Thomas, the Cleveland left tackle, who played 10,000, had a 10,000 career length of snaps that finally broke
last year,
this last season.
Yeah, a guy that's going to walk into the Hall of Fame,
if not carded first. I mean,
he's a beast.
Yeah. And but he's basically going, I'll block for you, kind of like he's really going, hey, I will go above and beyond for you. I will do whatever it takes, barring, just anything that is willing, that is non-criminally possible. Right. I will come and play for you if you come to Cleveland. I sit here and wonder, the A.J. McCarron factor kind of plays into this a little bit, only because I know that Cleveland, they screwed up the trade to get him originally, and prior management, they screwed up the trade to get him here originally. Could he be more of the quote-unquote, and I'm using air quotes for the people that are just listening, the quote-unquote backup plan if they can't get Kirk Cousins? And that's what I'm wondering if where I could see what you're saying, but at the same time, I wonder if everyone's still relying on Kirk Cousins first.
I understand that, but I think A.J. McCarron is going to get signed for different reasons. I think he's going to be the first quarterback signed for different reasons. I think that A.J. McCarron is going to get a $60 to $70 million contract waved in front of him, and he's going to take it with $40 million guaranteed.
Who picks him up? Who does it? Is it Cleveland?
It's going to be either Cleveland or it's going to be Arizona. I think Cleveland for this reason here. He has a history with Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson also has a history with Kirk Cousins, though. Let's not forget that.
Right.
So, but he has a more recent history with A.J. McCarron in Cincinnati. And you take that money, and then the first thing you do is you go out there, you got your first and fourth pick. You go get yourself another receiver, or you go get yourself another blocker on the other side of Joe Thomas, and you go get yourself a running game. And you got Saquon Barkley, who's looking real good in the top 10 picks.
And I believe Josh Gordon is going to be playing with Cleveland for one more season.
Yes.
So there's an opportunity there. And Josh Gordon,
that dude's got hands.
He's got the ability. I mean, there was, 2 seasons ago? Correct me if I'm wrong, 2 or 3 seasons ago.
He missed
like 4 games.
First 4 games.
And still was one of the best wide receivers.
He had the most catches all season from the wide receivers.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
So the opportunity is there. But I just kind of wonder, and that's why I kind of think that if he goes to Arizona, then that makes a lot of sense because of him being picked the first, or one of the first quarterbacks signed. Because don't forget, you still have Sam Bradford that'll probably be out there. You have Teddy Bridgewater. What happens to Case Keenum? Who goes where? There's 3 quarterbacks from Minnesota that are all excuse you, I was talking first.
Bless you.
There are 3 quarterbacks that are able to be starters,
yes,
in this league, whether they're Pro Bowl starters. That's why I just put the term just starters. I didn't say anything else out there other than that.
Okay.
So who stays in Minnesota? That also adds this situation of Nick Foles. If you're Nick Foles, and you're a competitor, I mean, anybody that plays in the NFL, if you're not a competitor, I don't know why you're in the NFL, because all you're doing is taking up a spot for somebody else.
Okay.
If you're Nick Foles, do you go to the Philadelphia front office and say, I would like a trade? You just won the quarterback. The iron is hot right now. It's not only just hot, it is white hot right now.
I don't think Nick Foles is that type of player.
He's going to get $7 million this year,
right,
just to sit as a backup to Carson Wentz. Does he sit, or does he kind of play behind Carson Wentz for another season? And Philadelphia looking at it as going, he's our backup plan in case Carson Wentz won. Chances are he's probably going to be, I think he'll be sidelined for the first 4 games of the season. Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I think it may even be the first 5 weeks of the season.
Fair enough.
And keep in mind that you're 5 weeks into the season, you're not going to come back, and you're still not going to be 100%. You still need to take that first big hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we all know what that's like.
What'll happen is you play. Let's say just for the sake of argument, he comes back week 5.
Okay.
Carson Wentz is ready to go.
Sure.
He still hasn't played a preseason game, so you haven't gone through the summer grind and then getting ready for preseason, and then through training camp, and then getting ready for preseason. So he, as you just said, he hasn't taken a hit yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't been touched by another player. Even a Philadelphia player has not pushed him the slightest at this point. What is he going to do?
Yeah.
So Nick Foles, for all accounts, probably should stay in Philly, because he's going to get the ample opportunity, because he's not going to change his stock. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
An MVP Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Exactly. Next season, he can do whatever he wants.
He'll
be a free agent, and they're not going to sign him.
Listen, not to take anything away from the backup quarterback, because in a league where quarterbacks are key, but it is also key to have that good backup. And you know what? Maybe Nick Foles might feel a little bit more comfortable as a backup role. Has anybody ever... I'm not trying to take away from his competitiveness, but, there's some quarterbacks that just feel a little bit more comfortable in that role. I mean... I know it's a far stretch, and maybe that's coming out wrong. Like I said, I'm not trying to take away from his competitive nature, but there have been a lot of quarterbacks that just feel more comfortable in the backup role.
Before we take our break, what about Johnny Manziel? He made a big announcement saying that basically publicly that he was suffering through depression and
bipolar.
Uh-huh. And do you feel that this was kind of like that publicity stunt to get himself back in that eye of everybody, try and make him beloved to an extent, and notifying everyone that he is paying to play football again? He is going to pay a developmental facility $350 to not only develop himself again, but to show that he is able to be back in the NFL again.
I hope it's true.
Which part? That it's a publicity stunt, or that he is actually trying to make a change?
He has this disorder, and that he's trying to make a change.
Because he's, 24, 25 now?
Something like that, yeah.
So he's very young, he's in the prime of his
life,
career,
yeah,
and his life. I'm not going to sit there and say that I kind of have that wonder, just to say, I want people to feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the only reason why I do that is because people have done it before. People I know, people you probably know.
No, I agree.
They do that whole situation where I have this, and then I'm going to do everything I can to make a change, and they do nothing.
Mental health is nothing to play with.
No.
And that's why I'm leery of it, because of his actions in the past. I hope that if it is true that he's getting the help he needs and he gets back on order, but I don't think he'll ever play another day in the NFL.
I do. I kind of do. But I think that it's more or less going to be he will be the next backup that we kind of all wonder is he ever going to start. I think he'll play like 3 or 4 more seasons as a backup, and that's about it. When we come back, the NBA All-Star break is here, and who has been the most impressive so far? Are the Cavs on the road to the finals again? We'll discuss that right here on 209 Sports.
Want to fight childhood asthma? Then fight it with a scrub brush and a hot soapy towel. Even in the neatest and tidiest homes, if there's so much as a crumb to eat or a drop to drink, household pests like bugs and mice will do all that they can to get it. And they're more than just a nuisance for kids with asthma, because they can actually trigger an asthma attack. So, sweep up crumbs, wipe down tables, scrub dishes before they pile up in the sink, and store leftovers in plastic bags or bowls. Don't leave bugs and mice so much as one tidbit or nibble, and you can stop a childhood asthma attack before it starts. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
Statistics say that 4 out of 10 high school students will drop out of high school, but sometimes the difference between dropping out and finishing is a boost.
I sort of got messed up into gangs, and there's one girl named Maria. She just told me to get my things straight, and ever since then she's been there for me.
10 real-life, at-risk students are filming their year, so you can see what it's really like trying to get through high school. Go to boostup.org to see their stories, and give someone you know a boost, so they can finish. High school is hard. Graduating is harder. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
My hero doesn't wear a cape or have superpowers. She doesn't slay dragons or kill wizards. No one wants my hero's autograph. She never goes to Hollywood parties, and she definitely doesn't have a star on the Walk of Fame.
My hero doesn't try to sell me soda, candy bars, cereal, or cheeseburgers.
You won't hear my hero song on the radio. He doesn't have a crew, bling bling, or a mansion.
You can't buy my hero's makeup line, handmade purses, or designer baby clothes.
My hero didn't win the pennant. She can't do a 360 dunk, and there's no way she'll score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Some of New York's most admired figures are the city's public school teachers. Just ask one of the millions of kids who learn from these heroes every day. For more information on the most rewarding job you can imagine, visit teachnyc.net. Join New York's brightest. Teach NYC. A public service announcement brought to you by the New York City Department of Education, the Appleseed Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Some look up to the Man of Steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real-life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms, I confide in all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
In a world where your tires are your only connection to the road, one man, 4 tires, free air. An epic battle against underinflation, tire damage, and even tire failure. In the ultimate fight for properly inflated tires, the warrior gives his heart, his soul, to keep those he loves safe on the road. Tires will inflate. Money will be saved. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
A lot of UOP activities going on right now. Not just basketball, but baseball is taking off. There's a lot of really good things going on right now. Let's see if I can get you a couple score updates. Top 6, Pacific Baseball still on the road. Seattle against Seattle University. It's still 3-2. Matt Tarantino, he's been a beast lately. He's up right now. Right now, Verlin's on second. Nate Verlin. It's good to see that kid back after that really after shoulder surgery, but he had a horrific injury over there in Fresno where a base runner ran into him, and it just kind of really tore a muscle in his shoulder and called it good. Right now, it's also good to see Lucas Halstead. He has a solo home run. He is batting 300 right now. Verlin batting 500. But I mean, we're 3 games in, so everyone pump their brakes. Like, don't put anybody on a certain kind of watch when we talk about something like that. But it's good to see Matty T, Mr. Tino, and and Luke, the Yeti, starting off pretty well, and then Nate Verlin as well. Also going to talk a little bit about James Free. He's got a little special opportunity that not many people can say, especially from a small university like UOP.
Wow.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Women's basketball, Santa Clara up 23-21. That's going to be a little bit of, I think that'll be a tight one all the way down to the end. But in the second quarter, with 6:28 to go, Santa Clara is shooting 47%. Pacific is only shooting 36%. The biggest real difference right now is the free throws are keeping the Pacific Tigers in there right now. They're 6 of 8. As I just looked up, it just changed, so it's 23-22. They have Desire Finney, who also just recently hit the 1,000-point mark of her career as she finishes up her senior year. So congratulations to her. We'll hear from her in a little bit. But while this basketball is going on, the NBA All-Star, the NBA is taking a break. All-Star events, All-Star festivities. What do you think about All-Star festivities as a whole? And I'm talking not just the NBA, but we put Major League Baseball, we'll put hockey involved in this, and we'll also throw the NFL in there. Do you like the fact that, like, for example, the NFL plays it at the end of the year, but these 3 other major sports, and we'll just put them as the big 4.
Okay.
The 3 other major sports, kind of just put them kind of like right in the middle mark of their season, where baseball is more. I think baseball of all of them are more close to the center of their.
I think baseball does it right. I think with basketball you don't have a choice because the season's so long, so it has to be done in the middle. But the skills.
So is baseball.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay,
I agree.
And so is hockey.
Sure, but it's like basketball is the longest of all of them, though.
Time frame, yes.
Time frame, because now
it starts in like the end of October and starts and ends at the end of June.
Exactly,
middle of June.
Yeah, so you got basically 2 months off. Before your
training camp starts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of crazy, but
well, think about this. Basketball what we just said, it ends in the middle of June.
Right.
The NBA draft is at the end of June. And then, okay, yeah, you're right. You get 2 months off, but those 2 months, the rookies are reporting to a camp for Rookie League.
Yeah.
Till like the middle or end of September.
Yeah, there's no time off for that.
Or maybe beginning. My time's a little bit off, but
especially if those kids just got done playing in, say, March Madness,
Yeah.
So, I haven't really watched any of the Skills Challenge since I was a kid, honestly. Mm-hmm. I lost a lot of interest in it. Like, when our heroes growing up were getting older and not participating and retiring.
Michael Jordans and heck, even the Kobe Bryants.
The Larry Birds, those guys.
Wow, you're old.
Hey, what do you want me to do? Those guys made it fun. Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan.
Oh, the slam dunk contest.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Those guys brought the best out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. I haven't watched it since then, though.
Why do you think that is? Is it just because you've grown out of it? Priorities have changed, or is it just because
it's probably a little bit of that? Yeah, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. I don't watch the All-Star game either for basketball.
For basketball,
yeah. I don't watch the Pro Bowl.
I think. Well, no, I didn't watch part of it because I was at your grandson's birthday party that weekend.
Yes, and then we had a pay-per-view.
Yeah, we watched Royal Rumble.
Yep.
But it does kind of question on, I don't know. I mean, and of course tonight I won't watch it either because I will be at UOP with the Santa Clara game, which I don't know what I'm going to be doing tonight, which is for the first time ever. I'm like, okay, so I'm not working the scorer's table. I might not be working a camera. I won't be running stats, so it'll be weird.
Be a statue man.
I might be. Yeah. I'll hold the flag and run around and just wish everyone, hopefully everyone...
Oh, that's awesome.
Why would you think that's funny?
Just cuz.
Just cuz. So, it'll be interesting. I kind of want to see because who wants to see two teams possibly have 200 points each.
I mean, I'm not interested in it.
I want to see some. I mean, I want to at least see some defense, not just saying I want to just kind of back out of the way and.
I would rather
watch everyone go, hey, slam dunk, yay!
I'd rather watch the celebrity basketball game than the actual All-Star game,
which happened yesterday, and I missed it. I fell asleep.
Yeah, well,
nothing new.
Yeah.
But the trade deadline was a big deal last week, and the Cleveland Cavaliers made some big noise.
Well, they made the most.
A total of 10 players getting swapped around, whether it be they acquired 4, they traded away 6, and with Jordan Clarkson now going over to the Cavaliers along with a lot of other LA Laker players, Isaiah Thomas no longer on that team. For whatever reason, it seemed like LeBron James and him just never really got along. They seemed to clash a lot for whatever reason. Both of them are ball-dominant players.
Sure.
So it's hard to get that way.
If you're going to play with LeBron, you got to be ball-friendly.
And willing to listen.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. He goes, look, I'm an all-star. I know how to play this game too. Well, you're coming back from a hip surgery.
Yeah.
Or hip injury. I don't think he had surgery. I think it was a hip injury.
No, he had surgery.
Did he have surgery?
Yeah.
They were talking about the surgery again, and I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway, I got thrown off. But anyway, so he gets traded to the Lakers with Lonzo Ball. I think the Lakers made a big mistake because they're all anticipating trying to pick up LeBron James when he comes a free agent. If LeBron James does not pick up his $34.5 million option. Yeah, $34.5 million.
Yeah.
Brother, can I have a couple $100,000? You know?
Cousin.
Right? We look absolutely alike. But there's a lot of things. What in the world is that guy doing? There's a guy running. Who is it? What's he doing? Oh, he's going to go in and help repair a car. We're watching we found out it's the Infinity Series. And he's going to go repair a car.
The 88.
Oh, okay.
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott's car.
That's awesome. All right. Oh, he lost a window.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, he lost a window.
Oh, wow. All right. So, back to reality.
Okay.
Oh, there goes gravity. But
you're hella dumb.
With that,
good God.
With that trade, does that make the Cleveland Cavaliers the best team now in the East? Keep in mind, Toronto is one of the best teams, and so is Boston. Does the championship, the Eastern Conference, still run through Cleveland?
I don't think it ever didn't run through Cleveland.
They were struggling for a very long time.
That's fine. They struggled at the end of last year. They struggled a long time this year. That's fine. Okay, but
they got younger.
You got LeBron James.
It re-energized the team.
Who you are, you got LeBron James. You're always going to be the favorite. Yes, it would have been a little bit more difficult by all means. You can't even dispute that. But you still got LeBron James, so you still got the best chance to win. What they did with the younger people coming in, people that listen to LeBron James, to Ty Lue, people that don't necessarily have their own agendas, it absolutely opened up a whole new realm of opportunities for what they can do for the rest of the year. And it did make it a lot easier for them to get back to the finals, yes.
Do you think now, and I think you always thought this way, but do you think now he re-signs with Cleveland? Or is there still an opportunity that he goes to somewhere like Philadelphia?
If he re-signs with Cleveland, he can get a Supermax, can he?
He can get a Supermax almost anywhere.
Can he?
But Cleveland would have the best opportunity.
Right. But Dan Gilbert's already forking out.
Dan Gilbert, obviously, one thing that doesn't get noticed is Dan Gilbert will do whatever it takes to win. He's going to probably be close to $200 million next season, which will put him over an expensive luxury tax.
Yeah.
But it's all about trying to get a championship. He's doing everything he can. He's showing LeBron James, look, stay in Cleveland.
Yeah.
We haven't talked but only twice since you've been back.
Yeah.
But stay in Cleveland because, one, everyone loves you. Two, I'm doing whatever it takes for you to win.
Right. No, and he is, and I think what they did this year was really good. Really, really, really good.
The trade.
Yeah. No, Kobe Altman, the young GM that they have now, has really done a really nice job in Cleveland, I think, with those trades.
Well, we'll see what happens. The NBA All-Star break will end, and I think they go back to work next Wednesday or Thursday. When we come back, so Steve Kerr let his team coach himself against the Suns. Was this disrespect, or did he make a point? Right here, 209 Sports.
Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel the Little Mermaid and all her friends under the sea.
Flounder, hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh? To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose of trash properly.
Isn't it fantastic?
To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org. This has been a message from Environmental Defense, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, NOAA, and the Ad Council.
I know. Being a college freshman is supposed to be tough, but let me tell you about my schedule this semester. All 18 credits. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have American Lit at 8:05 a.m., and then I only have 15 minutes to get to my 9:15 Ethics and Value Theory class, all the way across campus. Then in the afternoon, Calculus 1. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 2 lectures that go through lunch, Sociology of Families, then Intro to Microbiology, pre-med, and finally, I have a double lab that ends around 9 p.m. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
If a kid will do whatever it takes to get through college, what will you do to send her there? Please support the United Negro College Fund and call 1-800-332-UNCF, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A public service brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Some people still don't believe that secondhand smoke is dangerous. This is Scott Bakula. Did you know that just being around someone who smokes can cause severe lung problems, heart disease, and cancer? But there is something you can do about it. Call for a free booklet from the Will Rogers Institute. It clearly explains the proven risks of secondhand smoke and the ways you can avoid exposure. Toll free 1-877-957-7575, because secondhand smoke is dangerous. Believe it.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate, because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
How can we help prepare our kids for the future? Hi, this is Roger McGuinn. These days, our children face challenges unimaginable to us only a generation ago. We adults need to help our kids find something in school that really sparks their interest and keeps them involved. If that something happens to be music, the child will benefit in so many ways. Playing music in school is a great way to make friends. Studies are showing that kids involved in music are less likely to get into trouble. And kids who studied music find science and math easier to grasp. They tend to score higher on SATs. It has something to do with something called spatial IQ. So get your kids involved with school music. It's a great way to help prepare them for life.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
I've been requested to get another one of those because, and I said, well, I don't know if she'll do it because she did that in the first take. I had her do it a second time just so that way I thought, you know what, just in case I didn't hit the record button in time, right, or something like that. I just said, hey, let's do it a second time. Not only did she nail it the very first time, she nailed it the second time too without any issues. I'm like, wow. I go, well, I doubt she'll do another one because we've already got her for another year. She's a junior guard, so we'll see. We'll listen to her one more time, but I got to get someone else. Maybe I'll get one of my boys to do it over at the baseball team or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Oh, I got to get you score updates, don't I? Let's see what we got here. Still 3-2, bottom 6. And it looks like Ricky Reynoso's day is done. Let's see what he did today, because I want to. I think he went through 5. I think he gave up 2. He went 5 2/3, 2 runs, struck out 5, 2 earned. So good for him. Good game. Solid. 87 pitches.
Nice.
59 total strikes. So good stuff. There's a runner on first in the bottom of 6, but 2 outs. So we'll see if Pacific can hold on there. In Santa Clara, Pacific leading 32-29 at the end of the first half. So Pacific trying to get back into their back on their winning ways after winning in San Diego, which was winning against San Diego at home, which was a fun game to watch. If you had a chance to listen to Don Gubbins on PacificTigers.com on the W.TV, it was a good call.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's very few times that I shouldn't say very few times. It's a great opportunity and a fun time to be honored when I'm one of the cutaways to a instant replay, and Don Gubbins is making a call, and this one happened to be for Desire Finney's 1,000th point.
Nice.
So that was cool. I mean, what was funny about it was I was talking to Michael January, who's the video coordinator for Pacific Tigers. He's the one that gives me, hey, this is what you're doing tonight, kind of thing. I wouldn't call him a boss because he doesn't really have to tell me to do things, because I just go in there and do a job. But he essentially is, and the same thing with Rebecca, who's the main SID, or is the head SID coordinator for UOP. But Desire Finney gets checked into the game, and so I hear Don talking about her, and so I've got pretty much a close-up on her, and I'm doing everything that I was thinking was the perfect way to do. And I happen to back out, and I started to watch the ball, and right as the ball, not me watching the ball, I had put the camera on the ball, I should say, and right as I did that, she goes back door, and a drop pass to her, and she lays it in for 1,000th point, and I got just enough of it to make it worthwhile.
Nice.
So that was pretty, I even asked Michael, I was like, did I get it? And he was like, yeah, you got it. I was like, woohoo! So it was pretty fun. It was an honoring moment. I was happy for her, and like I said, we'll talk about her and her 1,000th point a little bit later in the show. Usually this is the time that we talk hella dumb. Wait, we talk hella dumb all the time. Is that really being the part where we're hella dumb, or no? This is a segment where we're hella dumb.
It's the shtick.
This is the shtick. We don't do shticks.
Don't call me a hooker. I'll tell my wife on you.
Will a prostitute work?
No.
Well, you said don't call you one. I can call you another one.
Can you find something more classier?
Streetwalker?
Okay, there it is.
I mean, but this is kind of different. We're doing something new for the very first time in ever. 209 Sports, that's nothing new to 209 Sports, but for us,
yes,
it's something new.
Yes.
And we're going to run 3 hours.
Attempting.
I think we'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll kill each other much.
All the way.
We'll have a little bit of life left.
Yeah.
But so we're going to switch that to now the bottom of the next hour, of the second hour.
Okay.
So we're going to move that story, because I know you have a good story, because you just came back from Disneyland.
I have several.
Where I'm surprised your wife did not leave you on the roadside somewhere.
No.
Or kick you out of the plane. How was the plane ride? Or is that possible?
We don't want to talk about that.
We don't want, yes, we can talk about that off air then.
Ooh. I'm scared.
Of who?
Of the damn planes. I told her next time we're driving.
What'd she say?
She's going back in October without me.
Actually, there might be an opportunity. I might try and go up there. I guess they've made some big changes. I was talking to one of my other friends the other day, and he was talking about the changes that they made since I was there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I guess they've made big changes since then.
They made some real big changes. They actually have a section that they're building now that doesn't even open until June.
Well, I guess there's something that's going on in downtown Disney. So
I didn't see a whole lot going on in downtown.
I guess there's a bowling alley there now.
Oh yeah, I went there.
Yeah. So
I got drunk there. By the way, by drunk I mean I had one shot and one beer.
He got wasted. I want to get chocolate wasted. Oh my god.
Dilly din dilly dong, come on.
But yeah, so I want to check it out.
They had moonshine.
Oh, how was that?
I don't know. You have to ask Amy.
Oh, because she had it, not you.
I had the tequila and the beer.
So, anyways, our we're already starting Helladum. Helladum's at the bottom of the next hour. But back to basketball here, real quick, as Pacific's down 5-3 now. Perrin just homered to left field at 3 RBIs. Cosgrove and Leiden scored. Down 6-3 now. 6-3, 5-3. Numbers look weird. Anyway, so that's a bummer. What can be hella dumb, and I guess we can kind of talk about it a little bit, is a coach letting their own team coach themselves. In a blowout win against the Phoenix Suns, which the Phoenix Suns absolutely stink. Yep. We're down, 35 to 40 points. And Steve Kerr basically said, hey, took a seat, took a step back, and let them go at it.
Nothing wrong with it.
Well, Chris Dudley felt like it was kind of like a slap in the face a little bit, but in the same sense, he kind of said, well, we do stink. We need to play better.
Exactly.
Don't focus on them. Focus on that we're not playing good enough to let a coach stop coaching.
Yeah.
And
so get mad, play harder.
Yeah.
And suck it up. You know, if you don't want to be disrespected, then give them a reason to respect you. Respect earned, not given.
They are NBA players. I think they should get a little bit of respect.
Well,
Philadelphia.
Don't play like
Phoenix
a college
is not
team.
in the D squad.
What?
D-League.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't play,
Don't play D-League basketball, and you might actually have a chance.
You go play college ball somewhere else.
Was this the right, regardless of whether they think that it was, people think it was, a term we used earlier, Bush League or not. Sure. I used a little bit of air quotes. In fact, I don't think Kyle could see me do the whole thing, but I used air quotes as I said that. But regardless if we think it was Bush League in the NBA's terms or not, do you think that it was the right move by Steve Kerr? Because in an interview, he actually said, look, I get tired of my own voice.
Yeah.
We're near our break. Everyone's tired. We've been grinding on each other. We all need a kind of little bit of a vacation from each other, even though 3 of them are going to be together throughout the 4 of them, are going to be together throughout the
whole weekend.
Throughout the whole weekend, the All-Star break. They all kind of needed a little bit of break from each other. Was this the right move by Steve Kerr? Will that affect anything down the road?
I don't know. I mean, he messed around. He let them coach each other against the Phoenix Suns. 2 nights later, he went out, and they got beat up by like 20-something points.
Who they play? They played the, was it the OKC?
Oh, yeah.
So
I think so. So, I mean, I think a team with a lot of success in a short amount of time, these things, people do get tired of each other, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, we can put it into regular work, right? Like
sure.
If we work together for a year and a couple months.
Yep.
Give or take a 5
months.
weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I had to think about no.
Yes, we left in May.
I left at the end of April.
Okay. So it's 5 months. I started in January.
Okay.
Are we really going to argue about this?
Yeah, apparently. But anyways,
help me.
There is no help for you. You know that.
I know.
We got, there were days where we just kind of, I think you and I kind of were able to just go, okay, he's just let him be.
No, you and I.
But essentially, we worked together with people for 9-10 hours a day.
Yes.
Regularly. Like there was 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. Even though we had lunch and everything else, we still were around each other nearly 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
We got tired of each other. It just happens. It just kind of goes,
yeah.
This is that other way. The only difference is that, one, they're playing basketball and they're making millions of dollars. And I'm, and we weren't.
Yeah.
Even during our quote-unquote all-star break.
Yeah.
We got back and we're like, exactly. We're back at it again. So I don't know. I think that it's a good thing they took some time off, or did the you do it, see how it is.
It's in one of his interviews, Steve Kerr said, I don't necessarily agree with it 100%. He's like, this is their team. They should be coaching each other. Yes, they should be coaching each other, and they should allow each other to be coached by each other. But at the same time, it's his team, and that's why he's responsible for it first.
Truth be told, it was Mark Jackson's team to start things off with. But I digress. If a coach doesn't go to the NCAA basketball tournament, can he or should he be in a discussion for Coach of the Year? How about Coach of the WCC? We'll talk about that. 209 Sports.
Some look up to the man of steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see.
Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
What does freedom of speech mean to me?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
Freedom of speech means I can speak out against the majority.
Speak out against the majority.
It means I can express my opinion freely.
It's the American dream.
It's the First Amendment. It means everyone has a voice.
I guess freedom of speech is more than a right. It's a responsibility.
A message from the National Association of Broadcasters, Education Foundation, and this station.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
See how quick I was able to get that on? Woo! That was
Did you just hit me with a flare?
Almost. That was a half flare because I didn't go.
Okay. Woo! That's gonna blow out my eardrums.
No, I kept it low. Almost caught ourselves not coming back from break when we're supposed to.
Hell down.
Welcome back, JD, Jeff Dominic, along with Kyle Hauk. Live in the Dominic Studios, and who won?
Tyler Reddick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very unknown, but but in the Xfinity, I'm sure he's well known.
Yeah.
So
That's
Daytona
good.
500 is coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Almost said next weekend.
Yeah.
Got close. Almost caught myself slipping.
I'll tell you what we do got next weekend.
I know what we got next weekend. Chamber.
Oh yeah. A very special one.
Why is it special?
They just added a 5th person to it.
7th.
So, well, you know what I meant.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Exactly.
But we'll talk about that. You think it's special? I question it. I'm surprised you didn't check your phone. That's usually your go-to.
I got it pulled up here.
How much have you actually looked at on your laptop since we've been talking?
I got 8 with different 6 different windows open right now.
What do they all say?
Pacific Tigers baseball men's, Pacific Tigers softball, UOP athletics, William Byron, and Hendrick Motorsports.
Different. Okay, you got a variety there a little bit.
All topics we continue to go back and forth.
We happen to be going back and forth.
See, I'm trying to keep up here.
Very well played.
I am still learning.
You're engaged in the conversation.
Yes, I am.
Everyone kind of just in case, because what I was doing is I happened to look over and I saw the screen go off. I was like, well, what is on there? Because you really keep doing that.
I'm sure you get the question like, hey man, who is that guy on the air with you? I don't know about him, and so I'm just trying to make it in your world,
I think you're doing just fine.
Well,
we're doing all right.
I'm trying.
Let me ask you this: in your mind, in any sport, let me just put it out there. In any sport, what does it take to be Coach of the Year? A coach.
A coach.
Not MVP, not Player of the Year. A coach.
I think the very first thing is the team, the atmosphere, the culture in the locker room.
Okay.
As it comes forth and as you're building up young men.
How it's presented on.
Yes.
In the stadium or on the court.
Are you
whatever.
a coach just there for the wins? Or are you a coach there to help bring young men up? And
we'll say we'll put women's sports in this too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then of course I think wins go along with it, but wins are kind of a hairy thing to me because you're looking at a different coach each from year to year. So if that coach per se has maybe come in, say the year or two before, taken over a program, and then has to change it around, first, second, but on that second year they've made a very surprising turnaround.
Okay.
And they start to look like contenders. By that third, fourth year, they are in the contending role. You know what I mean? So in the middle timeline there, I think that's a good foundation for Coach of the Year.
Let me give you this statistic, and I don't think I'll be able to pull it up because my computer does not have what I thought it would be. Last season, if I've got it correctly, 10 wins.
Okay.
This season, and go to the correct thing here. They're 14-14 and 9-6 in the conference. 9-6 in the conference. Conference that has teams like San Diego, which is a decent team. BYU, who they've beaten BYU. They've beaten San Diego twice. And they've lost to St. Mary's twice and Gonzaga twice. But they're 9-6 in the conference. They're looking at the number 4 seed in the West Coast Conference when they go and play in the tournament.
Okay.
Let me add this. They're running with 8 scholarships.
Okay.
They're dealing with an injury. They're one of their standout guards, Lafayette Dorsey. Obviously, I'm giving away who this is now out with a fractured hand. He fractured that hand, I believe, right after the Gonzaga game or during the Gonzaga game. He may have done it in practice. I'm not 100% positive when he got hurt, because he got hurt pretty bad against Gonzaga too. So I'm wondering if that had something, if that was it or not.
Right.
So they lose that. So now they're running with basically a 7-man rotation, and they're still winning against those same teams that I just mentioned, and they're still winning. They won 62-60 on a game winner just last weekend.
Right.
And they won in San Diego on Thursday. They're 9-6 in the conference. They're 14, but they're 14-14 overall. The reality is that they're not going to go to an NCAA tournament.
No.
They're a mid-major team that just will not do it. You're not Gonzaga. You're not St. Mary's.
No.
And obviously, I'm talking about Damon Stoudemire and the University of Pacific Tigers.
Right.
They've done everything that basically you just talked about, and then some. They talked about the culture. What did he do last season? What's he doing this season? Actually, they won 8 wins. They had 8 wins last season.
Right. In their conference.
Not only that, they're doing it with a team that only has 3 returning players. Only one of them is the starter.
So that goes with the foundation that he has set forth in that program.
So everyone basically is learning each other in some way, shape, or form. Those 3 players, they at least know each other. Two of the players have played together when they were playing for a JUCO team in Texas, that being Jalil Tripp and Roberto Gallinat. And those 2 players have played together before. So they kind of someone knows each other, at least in some way.
There's some chemistry throughout the team.
But the reality is that this chemistry didn't start until probably just before conference time started.
Good time to start it.
Should Damon Stoudemire be, I wouldn't say the NCAA Coach of the Year, because chances are that's going to go to probably like someone the coach over in Villanova or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be
maybe Purdue.
Big university, yeah.
You never know. Mark Few could always get in something like that. But in the West Coast Conference, no one, I'm going to sit here and put it out there right now, no one said that the University of Pacific Tigers, they'll be 4th in the conference. They were picked 8th. I know that.
Right.
And the only reason why I know that is because a lot of people factored Portland would probably be behind them and Pepperdine.
Didn't they sweep Portland this year, or was that Santa Clara?
They've swept Portland. They have an opportunity to still sweep Pepperdine. Let me pull out their schedule one more time, just because
we were talking about that last week, or 2 weeks ago.
They have an opportunity. They play. They've beaten Pepperdine. I'm still in November here, so they play Santa Clara. They'll have an opportunity, to sweep Santa Clara. They can split with USF. They have to beat USF. They can have an opportunity to sweep LMU, and then that's right before the West Coast Conference Championships.
I think he gets strong consideration for Conference Coach of the Year. Absolutely.
And I mean, St. Mary's is ranked, and those, but it almost seems like that should be common, right? Those 2 teams are ranked between them and Gonzaga. Does that automatically go? Put the stamp down. They're the best. They're the one of those 2 are the coaches of the year.
Obviously, they're the bigger of the universities. Those 2s are.
And BYU.
Yeah, but so
they're the big 3.
You would hate to say that's how it goes sometimes, but unfortunately, it is. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
just making an argument. You know that.
No, I know that, but I agree with everything you're saying, so there's no argument.
What's that again?
Nope. No.
You said no. That was pretty good.
That was good. Timing is everything, kids.
We have chest hair, even if it is shaped like a heart. Damn, he likes to party with 2 R's.
I can't go on.
Yes, you can.
Oh, God.
It's all right. We got to take a break anyways.
Perfect.
You needed the break?
Yeah, I'm going to need the break.
All right. Well, let's take the break. When we come back, what do I have next? You know what I have next. Don't I have something next? Whoa, turn that down, folks. There we go. I got it. Don't worry.
Got it?
I got
you.
You got me?
Oh, I got you. Where do you want to go with this?
Well, I just want you to guess on who is the 4th best catcher in all of college baseball. That's all I want you to do. Just guess.
Just guess?
Just guess.
Would it happen to be a local team?
It could be. I'm not going to say, but this is 209 Sports. We'll be right back.
That's the Big Dipper over there, and there's the Little Dipper.
Rub the balloon on your head like this, and then it'll stick to the wall.
Brown shoes, brown belt. Black shoes, black belt.
Pucker your lips, leave a little hole like this, blow out, and that's how you whistle.
And that's why radios don't go near the bathtub.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Glasses, you idiot!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For a few quick pointers, visit actagainstviolence.org or call 877-ACT-WISE for a free brochure.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see.
Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
Want to fight childhood asthma? Then fight it with a scrub brush and a hot soapy towel. Even in the neatest and tidiest homes, if there's so much as a crumb to eat or a drop to drink, household pests like bugs and mice will do all that they can to get it. And they're more than just a nuisance for kids with asthma, because they can actually trigger an asthma attack. So, sweep up crumbs, wipe down tables, scrub dishes before they pile up in the sink, and store leftovers in plastic bags or bowls. Don't leave bugs and mice so much as one tidbit or nibble, and you can stop a childhood asthma attack before it starts. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
That has to be some of the worst broadcasting we've just ever done here, right here on 209 Sports.
That's what we do.
Obviously, the people that can watch us on video, we're over here eating Jelly Bellies. Oh well, you'll get over it.
We're hella down.
Oh my goodness. So it's a final. Actually, let's give you a couple other scores before I give you the final. Pacific Tigers over in Santa Clara, the women's basketball team with 34 seconds left to go, are all tied up at 38. Your leading scorer is Desire Finney. She's got 11, 4 of 8 shooting, as well as Brooklyn McDavid. Her actual first name, and I love her actual first name, is Anaya.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
she chooses to use Brooklyn McDavid. I wonder if it's because it's easier to pronounce.
I don't know. That's a beautiful name, though.
I love it.
No, that's awesome.
I don't know why she chooses not to use it, because the first time I read it on her bio, what it was, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a great first name. And then she says that, no, I go by Brooklyn. Far be it, you're 6'1". I'm cool. I'll just let you.
I don't want no problems.
I don't want any problems. I will call you whatever you want me to call you. But so it's all tied up. Actually, it's 39-38. I just happened to look over once again, and it's changed. It's a final over there in Seattle. The Tigers do lose this one, 5-3. Let me give you your best player of the game, and that was Kevin Sondry. Went 2 for 4. Keaton Glover, nice to see the center fielder, having a nice game. He needed the nice game. He went 2 for 3 as well. So nice to see some of the players, but they need to get all 9 to get going here, because truth be told, when all 9 of them are clicking, it's fun to watch because they have a lot of talent in all their different spots. Kevin Sondry, the leadoff hitter, 2 for 4. But unfortunately, Ricky Reynoso, 5 2/3, gave up 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, 3 doubles were given up as well. So a little rough for that night, but there's always the next one, right?
That's why we play the game.
Braden Wire went 4 2/3. This game was only 7 innings, and the reason why is because they're playing a doubleheader today. So typically, most doubleheaders they'll play the full, only 7. We may see when they come back home next weekend, we may see them play full 9 both games, but that will be up to the discretion of both coaches, and we'll see what happens. But I can guarantee you this: on Friday and Sunday, it'll be a full 9. I'm excited against Utah Valley. Should be a fun time. Speaking of baseball, and I obviously didn't mention this guy because he went 0 for 4 today, but James Free was announced that he is the 4th best catcher in the NCAA in the preseason. So he was ranked 4th. Of all catchers, he's ranked 4th. And I can see why in some ways, because one, he's a sophomore. He had a great freshman year, so he's a sophomore this season. But there were a lot of things that he definitely needed to improve on. One of them was being able to throw out base runners. A lot of stolen bases were thrown out. Were on the Pacific Tigers last season. I believe it was like a total of 38. I think he only threw out like 4.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt you.
Well, I watched him in practice Tuesday. I had to think about what I was doing the last couple of days. But yeah, I watched him in practice on Tuesday, and he was coming out of the crouch position and throwing to second base in under 2 seconds. So 1.9 seconds was the best he was able to get from his crouch to second base. Pretty good, right?
Pretty decent time, yeah.
Yep. So we'll see how he's able to hold base runners over this year. As I mentioned, Ricky Reynoso, 5 2/3. Once again, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Not the typical kind of day you want, but I think everyone's kind of a little thrown off because they played a doubleheader yesterday, playing a doubleheader today.
That's a lot of baseball in a short time span.
In 24 hours, right? So both of them, first game started at 1. This game started, I believe it was at 1 as well. No. Does that sound right? 2.5 hours? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 7 innings. So yeah, so it probably started at 1. This next game will probably start at 5 or at probably about 4 o'clock. So all we can hope for is that they will be able to split the series and come on their way home against Utah Valley, and then that's when I get to have my fun. Get to hang out with the boys.
Back to work, huh?
Back to work. So
it's nice when you get excited about work, right? You know?
Well, and you know what? Here's the thing, is that I think we've had this discussion. I've had this discussion with you. I've had this discussion with many people, including my own family. I go, you know what? I will grind my gears and work 3 jobs because all three of them don't feel like I'm actually truly quote unquote working. I've used the air quotes a little bit today.
I've noticed that.
So again, I think that may be my new crutch, and I got to watch out for that. I don't use it too much.
Okay.
But when I'm working 3 jobs and all 3 of them don't feel like I'm truly working, I'm okay with that. If I have to grind it out. Still making an honest living. I'm doing enough. What the problem is?
We ain't hungry.
Well, I may have to skip a meal or two just to make sure I save face, but hey, I just go to your house.
Yeah, exactly. That's it right there, folks. That's when he makes sure. So, what's Amy making for dinner, huh?
Yeah, just because I'm Italian doesn't you don't have to make. So what? The problem is. Oh, get on Tito here, and we're gonna go talk about this. Huh?
That's what we do, huh? That's what we do.
So what is she making for Monday?
Good question.
I'm just saying.
She actually has made it to the grocery store. We haven't done. You know how crazy our lives are, and
right? Nope, I do.
And the past few weeks, we really haven't gone grocery shopping.
All in preparation.
Yeah. Well. So. I'm not sure what's for dinner, but I know the other night she made some nice steaks. They were really good.
That's cool.
Yeah. Last night was store-bought meatloaf with macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese was good.
I was going to say, was it all edible?
Macaroni and cheese? Mm-hmm. It was cheesy.
There you go. That's all that matters.
I had little crumbs on it.
That might have not been good. You might want to ask what those were.
Next.
Let me see.
Got him!
Stupid. So anyways, Pacific Tigers, there's a lot. Unfortunately, they lose today. Baseball does. They'll have a second game coming on. It's projected to have a second game. The reason why that there's been 2 doubleheaders in a row is because of the reason why they were here last year. Why Seattle came all the way over here, and this series should have been played in Seattle last year already. And truth be told, they should have been playing this season here. But because they were already here last season, they had to have the games over there, some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, cancel them all.
But it's Seattle, and
what happens in Seattle?
Rain. It is the most depressing place.
That's a clown question, bro.
It is. It's but yeah, no, you're right. It rains nonstop. Yeah. Oregon and Washington might as well just call it good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they were able to ever get a baseball game. No, it doesn't matter if it's now or mid-July. It rains.
Yeah.
So, but they were able to get 2, or they were able to get 3 off. So that's always a good sign. It's always a bad sign that the Tigers didn't win either of those 2 last ones. They put themselves up in good opportunity, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing is not so much the starting pitching, because we know Ricky, we know the starting pitchers, Shelby and all those guys, they can hold this their own.
You know, last year, if I recall correctly, they had some issues with that as well.
Injuries,
but you know, they were putting themselves into position early, but they were falling off on the back end of it, and
it was usually if, for example, because Shelby and Will, they got hurt. Well, Will, I found out he was one inning off from being able to redshirt and pitch this year.
Right.
But Shelby redshirted, but if those two guys could have ran 6, for example. It was usually that 7th and 8th inning was where, okay, everyone hold on, let's see what happens.
Exactly.
If it's 5-3, no lead is safe. It had to be pretty much 13-1, and then they would win 13-8 kind of thing. Now it's a little bit different, and only that there's one, you got players that are getting a little bit more experience, but 2, you don't have Vince Arrobio there no more. He doesn't close the doors like he was able to because he got drafted by the White Sox. He's now off in doing his own thing now. So
Pacific Tigers, they lost quite a few guys last year, didn't they?
I believe 6. I'd have to really look it all back up, but I believe it was 6 or something to that effect. But baseball, you lose a lot of people pretty easily. I mean, pretty quickly.
Sure. I
mean, you've got 40 guys, 30-ish guys, 35 guys on one team. You're going to lose them. You can probably lose 5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't it in baseball they have to stay 3 years? Is it?
College baseball, you have to stay 3 years.
Yes. Yeah.
In NCAA college baseball, because if you go to like JUCO, junior college, you could just play that one season and call it good.
Right.
Because there's a couple of guys I know that did that.
Right.
So,
well, because the major league draft is funny because if you can still get drafted right out of high school, which is the only major sport that allows you to do that, to my knowledge, and
hockey.
Does hockey still do that?
I think hockey allows you to do it too.
But if you turn down your draft choice, the where you get drafted or whatnot, you have to go to college to be eligible for at least 3 years for sure.
Yeah.
So I know that Matt Harvey was doing that. As we're getting into baseball, you see a lot of pitchers that have dominated at one point in their career, whether it be a long or short career, and it's going to be an interesting season to see how a lot of people bounce back this year.
A lot of people have to bounce back, not just majors, but college. It's going to be really, really weird for this first couple of months once we see the spring training kind of get going. It's hella dumb time. Kyle has said he has a lot of stories from his trip in Disneyland. I might just take the segment off. Just call it good. 209 Sports.
Statistics say that 4 out of 10 high school students will drop out of high school, but sometimes the difference between dropping out and finishing is a boost.
I sort of got messed up into gangs, and this one girl named Maria, she just told me to get my things straight, and ever since then she's been there for me.
10 real-life, at-risk students are filming their year, so you can see what it's really like trying to get through high school. Go to boostup.org to see their stories, and give someone you know a boost so they can finish. High school is hard. Graduating is harder. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
My name's Rachel, and I'm 10 years old. I like riding my bike, playing soccer, and in 8 years, I'll be an alcoholic. I'll start drinking in middle school, just at parties. My friends will drink, so I will too.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults.
My parents won't really know what's going on yet. I mean, I'll do okay in school, but when I drink, I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Alcohol affects their judgment and their future, so start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
For more information on teens and alcohol, and to learn what you can do, visit the web at stopalcoholabuse.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and this station.
My hero doesn't wear a cape or have superpowers. She doesn't slay dragons or kill wizards. No one wants my hero's autograph. She never goes to Hollywood parties, and she definitely doesn't have a star on the Walk of Fame.
My hero doesn't try to sell me soda, candy bars, cereal, or cheeseburgers.
You won't hear my hero song on the radio. He doesn't have a crew, bling bling, or a mansion.
You can't buy my hero's makeup line, handmade purses, or designer baby clothes.
My hero didn't win the pennant. She can't do a 360 dunk, and there's no way she'll score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Some of New York's most admired figures are the city's public school teachers. Just ask one of the millions of kids who learn from these heroes every day. For more information on the most rewarding job you can imagine, visit teachnyc.net. Join New York's brightest. Teach NYC. A public service announcement brought to you by the New York City Department of Education, the Appleseed Foundation, and the Ad Council.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
Update in Santa Clara, it is 47-45. Pacific Tigers women's basketball leading with 6:12 to go in the first half, or the first half. I wish. We might set a record if that was the case. With 6:12 to go in the fourth quarter. Sound a little bit better? A little bit. JD, Jeff, Dominic, along with Kyle Hauk. Thank you all very much. Desire Finney with 17.
Nice.
She's got 17 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 4 of 5 at the free throw line. The next closest person would be G Gianna Ulu Summers, she's 2 of 7 though, but she scored 9 points, 4 of 6 at the free throw line, which is very rare for her to miss even more than one. Big reason the Tigers are up, 11 of 15 at the line.
Yeah,
compared to 6 of 12.
Man.
So Santa Clara is shooting themselves in the foot a little bit at the free throw line, not able to convert half. If they're able to go 9 of 12, regardless of how many times they've been at the line, Pacific Tigers have only been up there 3 more times than them. So obviously things are equal. But if they go 9 of 12, they're winning by 1.
Yeah. No, listen, their numbers are real similar. Not far off in almost every category.
Probably except for the free throws.
Yeah. No. Bench points is what's really jumping out at me. Pacific Tigers had 18 bench points to 4 from Seattle.
That's because of Desire.
Right.
Desire's coming off the bench now.
Points in the paint, they're 32 and 34. 32 for Pacific, 34 for Seattle. Second chance points, 16 Pacific, 8 Seattle.
Janelle just scored, so it's 49-45.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Anyways, so we'll keep you up to date. We got about 5 minutes, 50 seconds left to go on that. So, but obviously we weren't here last Saturday,
right?
But we did try and make up for that, being the fact that we actually broadcasted the Wednesday prior to that Saturday, just to kind of keep our own rhythm going.
Yes.
Tonight, and then all of a sudden today we decided to go, well, let's go 3 hours. See how it goes.
Right.
But the reason why we weren't here this last Saturday, speaking of which, don't forget, next Saturday we will not be here. Kyle and I will discuss it. Maybe we'll get another 209 Sports during the week. It depends on a lot of things. I just heard you put some more jelly bellies in your
Shut
mouth. I didn't have to say anything. We heard the microphone go. Yeah. So we knew what you were doing. But so Kyle may decide if he wants to try and suffer through another 2-hour show during the week. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how bad it hurt you the last time, so we'll figure it out. But anyways, you came back from Disneyland and you said you had a plethora of hella dumb stories. Some of them may have been involving an alcoholic beverage.
Maybe. It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But you said that I only have one, and it kind of pertains to what we're going to be talking in the next segment. So I'm going to use that as you go ahead, and I'm going to use mine to transition into the next one, to the next segment. So whatever you've got, maybe we'll play off of it a little bit. Because one thing that we do know, we don't know what our hella dumb story is.
Right. No, we don't tell each other.
Nope.
No. So
I do get a few texts from you every now and then saying something was dumb. You know what? I'll kick things off. You know what my hella dumb story, one of my beginning hella dumb stories were?
What's that?
I sent you a text message the other day with pictures of a bunch of car hoods lined up in a row. And I said, I'm listening to DMX called Where the Hood, Where the Hood, Where the Hood at? That was pretty good. It was hella dumb, but as everyone knows on this show, Kyle and I are the kings of hella dumb.
Yes, we are.
So there is no reason why we can put ourselves as the hella dumb person.
No.
In the hella dumb story.
Right.
Or the hella dumb city, or whatever. We've had enough of that already.
So
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Okay. So Amy and I went out, and we were in downtown Disney.
Well, I'd hope you two went out, because if not, that would have been kind of weird.
Not really.
Oh, yeah.
No. So we went to downtown Disney.
Which I love downtown Disney.
Yes. So I saw this bar called Splitsville. That's the bowling alley that you were referring to earlier.
Yep.
Okay, so they got a nice bar. Outside, open area, open seating, go into the bar.
Okay.
Amy and I have a drink.
Okay.
She has sweet tea moonshine. I had my Patron and a Budweiser back.
So you had a shot and a
beer. Yes.
Wash it all down with.
I'm feeling good. I'm a cheap date.
Well, that's nothing new.
That's okay. It's okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that because you are very
sensitive.
Yep.
So we'll say that. So we get back, heading back to the monorail. Oh, we're leaving this place. I'm already feeling good. I'm feeling good. And you know what happens when you start feeling good? Get a little loose lip. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get back over into Disneyland. A couple walks by.
Oh, no. What did you say?
I didn't really say anything, but I kind of said something. She's about 38. He's about 58. While he's pushing their infant.
No, you know that's horrible, awful.
I already know where this is going. Most people at home already know where this is going.
Me not realizing I might have said something about her being her dad. And his grandson.
You know what? It's possible. It's possible. She could be a single mom.
What's that song by Kanye West? She ain't nothing but a gold digger.
No, what are you talking about, man?
I might have gotten in a little bit of trouble.
By who?
Really?
Oh, I thought a grandpa was going to come out with his cane and his while his blonde bombshell was saying, "You can let him talk about that like us."
No, didn't get that serious. But it was one. I got one more that I have to deal with tomorrow, and I have to go to the dealership. And folks, if you buy a car, make sure the paperwork is done right.
Well, 9 times out of 10, it usually is done right. If they know what they're doing.
It'd be my damn luck that 10th time is
you?
Yeah. So what do you got for me there, Kimosabi?
Oh, I thought, are you done? I didn't think you were done. Oh, okay. Well, I was like, stories. I've got time. I'm gonna hit kick back here. Actually, we don't have time because we only got a minute, right? We got 2 minutes. We had 2 minutes. You wasted a minute.
So
I got nothing for you.
It's your turn.
I gave you one. Talk about where the hood at.
We in the hood.
Nah, we live all right here. This one's okay. Oh, I got one I can't talk about on air. I'll have to tell you. Though. No, my Hella Dumb story is fairly close by. It's in San Francisco. It's the NFL, and it has to rely around Reuben Foster. We're going to talk about them about the next segment. But the fact that you get arrested within a month of each other is a big problem. Not only for you, but for the NFL and for the San Francisco 49ers. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to digest with this whole situation right now.
Yeah.
But the fact that you, Mr. NFL player Reuben Foster, where we know you've had a lot of problems in your past, and we understand that, which should have been a lot of red flags to begin with, even at training camp.
The combine?
Thank you. The combine is what I meant. That's a big situation. And for that, when you're an NFL player making good money and on the field, if you have your own issues, i.e. late hits, things like that, where you get penalized and stuff like that, that's one thing. But when you have off-the-field issues and such a trouble like you do right now, there's a big, big problem. And for that, my friend, you are hella dumb.
Yeah.
Because coming up next, if I can hit... DJ! Hit my music! Which one are we going to hit? We're going to hit that one. When we come back, Reuben Foster has been arrested again. And I got to move over a little bit. Okay. Reuben Foster being arrested again. What should the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, what should they do now? That's next. 209 Sports.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see. Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel, the Little Mermaid, and all her friends under the sea.
Flounder, hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh? To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose of trash properly.
Isn't it fantastic?
To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org. This has been a message from Environmental Defense, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, NOAA, and the Ad Council.
How can we help prepare our kids for the future? Hi, this is Roger McGuinn. These days, our children face challenges unimaginable to us only a generation ago. We adults need to help our kids find something in school that really sparks their interest and keeps them involved. If that something happens to be music, the child will benefit in so many ways. Playing music in school is a great way to make friends. Studies are showing that kids involved in music are less likely to get into trouble. And kids who studied music find science and math easier to grasp. They tend to score higher on SATs. It has something to do with something called spatial IQ. So get your kids involved with school music. It's a great way to help prepare them for life.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
My name's Rachel, and I'm 10 years old. I like riding my bike, playing soccer, and in 8 years, I'll be an alcoholic. I'll start drinking in middle school, just at parties. My friends will drink, so I will too.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults.
My parents won't really know what's going on yet. I mean, I'll do okay in school, but when I drink, I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Alcohol affects their judgment and their future, so start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
For more information on teens and alcohol, and to learn what you can do, visit the web at stopalcoholabuse.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and this station.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
Give me the beats. Attaboy! Right when I wanted it. Welcome in, JD, Jeff, Dominic, Kyle Haug, hanging out like a bad smell right here on 209 Sports. It was both of us. It wasn't like both of us. Both of them. BOFUM. BOF. It wasn't like I was just. That's true too. It wasn't like I was just putting you out there and just saying, "Yeah, you're hanging out like a bad smell." When I said JD, Jeff, Dominic, and Kyle Haug hanging out like a bad smell, I meant both of us. Both of us. BOFUS. Yes. Both of us. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Just a ton of things that we've covered. The discussion on University of Pacific men's basketball is a good one. I think that Coach Damon Stoudemire should be in that discussion of Coach of the Year. I think Kyle agrees, but at the same time, I think that he's more or less leaning towards, well, you got 3 winning programs already out there. I get that Coach Stoudemire is doing that, and I want to see what he does. Basically, I think what you're saying is I want to see what he does. It's great what you're doing this year and with what you're doing it with. Well, let's see what happens next year when you've got all those guys going to be ready to go, plus whatever you get next year.
Listen, he's showing improvement each year.
Yep.
Okay. Now, how much more improvement can he show? I mean, when is it going to become a breakout year? You know what I mean? So next year he's into his third year?
This will be year 3.
Okay.
Coming up. After next season will be year 3. You're correct,
okay.
Yes.
So, like you said, when they're back to full strength and they've been with each other for a full season already, how do they respond then? You know what I mean? They go on a tear and just say they take second in the conference next year.
They beat one of the top 25 schools.
Absolutely. I think an NIT invite, you know what I mean?
Says a lot, yeah. Okay.
Says a lot.
You know, I'll have to ask Zach Beyruti on this, but excuse me. I'm curious, and it looks like the Pacific Tigers are going to lose this one. Right now it's 57-53 with 10 seconds to go, the women's basketball team. I'm curious if the Tigers win out, let's just say they do, and with their remaining schedule, let me go back to their remaining schedule, how many games they have left. It looks like they'll have, I believe it's 3. Yes, they have 3 games remaining. That would put them at 17 wins. Let's just say they win out. Puts them at 17 wins. I wonder what it would take for them to get an NIT invite. Just out of curiosity.
They definitely have to win the tournament.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't say that's really a maybe. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. You have to win the tournament.
You have to win the tournament, at the very least.
To go to the NIT, you don't have to win the tournament to go to the NIT.
To be considered for an invite, I think
that's what I'm kind of getting at. I think what if they were runner-ups? What if they get to there? Think it's possible? Somehow St. Mary's loses throughout the playoffs because they just lost to USF. St. Mary's did.
Right.
So let's say Lightning strikes twice and they lose again in the first or second round, and Pacific wins and is able to play Gonzaga at the very end.
Okay.
Or vice versa. Let's say St. Mary's has to play, or they play St. Mary's at the very end. Because that's what I think it may be. It may be Gonzaga will be 1, St. Mary's will be 2, and 3 will be BYU, and then Pacific will be 4.
Right.
So that's pretty much what we're looking at. So somehow one of those two teams, let's say one of those two teams makes it goes to the championship game, and Pacific is the second team, but they lose. And they lose convincingly. Let's say it's 68-52 kind of score. Do you think they get an invite?
No. I think your overall record needs to be just a little bit better, and especially from a smaller school.
They'd be 17 wins. There'd be 17 wins for them. Plus, their biggest win, of course, is BYU.
Right.
And that means they would still have to play some pretty tough teams in the second round or towards the end of the WCC tournament.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do I think that, would I love to see it happen? Of course I would.
Sure.
Anytime that something like that happens. But is it possible? I don't think so. I'd have to double check.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think next year is going to be a taller tale sign.
Yeah.
It's like I said, you make more progress,
mm-hmm.
you show. And then with that progress becomes a little bit further in the tournament or even the winning of the tournament on top of the 17, 18 regular season wins that you have. You know what I mean? That means a lot more. And for a small school like UOP to get an invite to the NIT, that's definitely a huge step in the right direction.
Right.
Especially for where this athletic department would like to be.
Well, considering where this athletic department has been.
Yeah.
And they've had a lot of good teams, not just basketball. Basketball right now is just the main focus because Truth be told, that's all that's happening right now. I know baseball. Right. I know. I'm talking about baseball and softball right now, but
yeah,
I'm saying that because this has been the main focal point for the last couple of months. It's now starting to get to that time where we're going to also have to discuss on how we're going to do our brackets, where we're going to do our brackets and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because it's getting close to that time too. I think Selection Sunday is next weekend.
No.
Something happens next Sunday, and I can't think of what it was. But anyways, but that's when all the tournaments happen too, like the SEC tournament, the WCC.
It's at the end of those tournaments, I thought.
It very well could be. I thought there was something more to it because everyone's been talking about the top 68 teams and all this other stuff, which I may have a few upsets, but just by looking at them. But anyways, but plus what I was mentioning about the way that where this program's at and where it's been, reason why there's problems, it's been issues that started this whole carousel, and they've done everything they can and a great job they've done to work their way out of it. Many athletics, though, do a great job. Water polo is always the big one. It does get a lot of recognition. You're talking about when basketball becomes a big deal, and if you were there last weekend against a team that wasn't that big of a marquee name in Portland, and when Portland and UOP got together, that was a great crowd.
Yeah.
That was a great crowd.
Yeah.
Water polo draws just about as good of a crowd. I mean, very surprisingly as good of a crowd. You've got tailgaters, which is always fun to see. And I'm dead serious. They are serious about their water polo. It's called Water Polo U for a reason.
Right. No, listen, I used to work for somebody who her daughters were swimmers. Mm-hmm. And, one went to Sac State and became a rower, and the other one went to UC Davis and had a phenomenal collegiate career. Water sport parents and friends, dude, they're kind of crazy.
They're their own unique individual.
They absolutely are.
They're entity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Real quick, Selection Sunday is going to be March 11th.
Okay, so we got a little time.
We got a little bit of time.
Cool. All right, so we'll see how we're gonna have to figure that out. But anyways, so there, and then of course, there's a lot of sports I'm gonna leave out on this, but men's soccer, women's field hockey. There's a lot of sports right now that are big deals. That if you put basketball involved, I think it's just gonna attract so much.
Oh
these other sports. I think it's gonna be absolutely great. But for what they've had to go through it was a hard issue. San Francisco 49ers have a big issue to deal with too, and they had to deal with that with I believe it was Tremaine Brock, who his charges got dropped. It may not have been Tremaine Brock. Why does that name? It doesn't feel like that was correct.
Mm-mm.
But he was a cornerback for the San Francisco 49ers. I'll have to look at the roster real quick. But anyway, while you're talking, but
Reed?
No, Eric Reed is still with the team. I wasn't Reed.
Oh.
I want to make sure. So don't quote me. It was not Tremaine Brock. I don't want to be defamation of character on this because I don't think it was him. I'll have to look at who it was. But Reuben Foster is in a big situation now. And when you look at someone that's been arrested 2 times in less than a month, it's kind of and they've been saying that they're going to put this in a case-by-case basis, but you almost have to assume that they might have to get rid of him after his rookie season. Yeah, it was Tremaine Brock. Hey, Tremaine Brock was the one that got arrested and then, or was accused of, I believe, now this part I don't want to be quoted on, is I believe it was some sort of domestic violence and or something to that extent.
Okay.
And they released him within a couple days. The San Francisco 49ers did. Charges got dropped. Minnesota Vikings wound up signing him. So, at least it landed mutually. But Reuben Foster has a big situation. First, he gets popped for marijuana. Now he's being he had an assault rifle. And then, of course, the domestic violence situation. That's all sorts of bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad because he's so young and he's so good, and I'm such a Reuben Foster fan for what he does on the field, but his off-the-field actions are exactly what's going awry with a lot of NFL players, and I think because he is so young and he is only in his first season, I say it's the NFL's job and the San Francisco 49ers' job to suspend him for a year and get him some help.
Okay. Well, I can understand the year part. I mean, I can understand both parts. I shouldn't say that I can understand one and not the other.
I think he's young. I think if you take that approach and help him help himself,
help me help you.
Exactly. Because one way or the other, he's done for the year. I think if Roger Goodell doesn't suspend him for a year, there's going to be all sorts of, oh my gosh.
Especially after the Ezekiel Elliott whole situation where he wasn't even, no charges were even filed on him. Well, here we got another guy that's been busted for 2 things.
3.
I mean, I'm talking within the last month. And then, of course, he's had the diluted sample during Combine. I'll keep wanting to say training camp, but it's not.
And then acting up at the hospital in regards to, having to go take a different test.
Yeah.
Arguing
with the nurse. That got him booted out of the Combine.
Yep.
So, I heard San Francisco Giants, Mark Melanson, his whole injuries last year, and from what I understand, they're going to be chronic. Well, apparently, so is Reuben Foster. Hi-oh! Thank you. That was the worst joke you'll hear the rest of this day. I don't
Probably
guarantee.
not.
Yeah. Let's see here. Guess what time it is?
It's that time.
It is top of the hour, so that means we need to take a small break. When we come back, let me get to that one. Daytona 500. It's tomorrow. Yeah. What are we looking forward to? Did you know that I might already have a driver that I'm looking forward to seeing?
Really?
And maybe I might pick him for the rest of however long he decides to drive.
Really?
That's coming up. 209 Sports.
Some people still don't believe that secondhand smoke is dangerous. This is Scott Bakula. Did you know that just being around someone who smokes can cause severe lung problems, heart disease, and cancer? But there is something you can do about it. Call for a free booklet from the Will Rogers Institute. It clearly explains the proven risks of secondhand smoke and the ways you can avoid exposure. Toll free 1-877-957-7575 because secondhand smoke is dangerous. Believe it.
Want to fight childhood asthma? Then fight it with a scrub brush and a hot soapy towel. Even in the neatest and tidiest homes, if there's so much as a crumb to eat or a drop to drink, household pests like bugs and mice will do all that they can to get it. And they're more than just a nuisance for kids with asthma, because they can actually trigger an asthma attack. So, sweep up crumbs, wipe down tables, scrub dishes before they pile up in the sink, and store leftovers in plastic bags or bowls. Don't leave bugs and mice so much as one tidbit or nibble, and you can stop a childhood asthma attack before it starts. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
How can we help prepare our kids for the future? Hi, this is Roger McGuinn. These days, our children face challenges unimaginable to us only a generation ago. We adults need to help our kids find something in school that really sparks their interest and keeps them involved. If that something happens to be music, the child will benefit in so many ways. Playing music in school is a great way to make friends. Studies are showing that kids involved in music are less likely to get into trouble. And kids who studied music find science and math easier to grasp. They tend to score higher on SATs. It has something to do with something called spatial IQ. So get your kids involved with school music. It's a great way to help prepare them for life.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
So seen a interesting race, the Xfinity Series. I'm trying to pull up right now on who may have won because I wasn't fast enough and I decided to grab something or talk to my dog rather than.
I told you who won.
Yeah, do you remember who?
No.
Exactly. That's my point. It's not the fact that I don't remember you talking to me about it.
Tyler Bryson?
Sounds about right. It's the fact that I just couldn't remember who did it. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. So anyways, it's been a big old event over at the Daytona International Speedway, and that's one of those things that are on my bucket list, Kyle. Is
Daytona?
Going to the Daytona 500 and watching the Daytona 500.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on.
Come on?
Come on, man. I'm all for it.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about some of the changes that have happened over the last few weeks that we were all kind of we were just kind of talking about how like Chase Elliott is now driving the number 9 car. He was 24 last year.
Right.
And now just because Casey Kane is now driving the 95 car, it gave him an opportunity to move over and race basically the same number his dad has had.
Yes.
Well, with all these changes, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. no longer being a part of the scene anymore. He's still there, but it's probably going to be with Junior Motorsports and probably going to be the Carolina Panthers owner.
NBC broadcaster, I believe.
Possibly.
No, I think that's already set.
Well, I know Jeff Gordon's been there for a while, so I just...
yeah.
So anyways, it gave me the thought, we started talking about it a couple weeks ago, that, I wonder who our favorite driver should be. And I was never really a rah-rah on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Actually, I was more of a Kevin Harvick fan than anything.
Okay.
And I was stoked when he won his championship a couple years back. But I think with all these changes, it gives almost a lot of people, not everybody, because there's the Jimmy Johnson fans and guys like that, and there's guys that have already been a Chase Elliott fan for the last few years that are now gung-ho on him. But I think it gives people like me, where I never really had a true set number one favorite race car driver, an opportunity to go, I might like insert name here. So, are you still kind of leaning towards I'm still going to be a Chase Elliott fan, even though he changed it from 24 to 9? Because a lot of people were like, well, he's Jeff Gordon's number. I love Jeff Gordon. I'll just transfer it over now.
See, I've always been an Earnhardt fan. So the Jeff Gordon number to me,
it's
whatever.
It's like hold up the crosses. I don't want you. No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
But I like him. I think he's a good young driver. Jimmy Johnson, I've been a fan of Jimmy Johnson's for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, like I said, Earnhardt Sr., Earnhardt Jr. kind of went hand in hand. Earnhardt was voted the most popular driver in NASCAR for how many years straight? It's a ridiculous number, like 14 years straight.
Well, the good news is that there's still going to be an Earnhardt racing.
His nephew is racing.
His nephew is going to race, and that's, so at least there's that. Are you going to root for him? And it was Tyler Reddick is what I think it just said. I just happened to
classify it.
Yeah. Who won the
Xfinity.
Yeah.
What he said.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of... I don't think I'm going to be a Chase Elliott fan, even though he went to 9.
Okay.
And there's this new kid who really isn't new, but he helped out Junior when he was Junior Motorsports. He helped out when Junior got hurt during the last season. And I'm pushing towards like Alex Bowman. Do I guarantee that that's who I'm picking? No. I want to see how he races.
I mean, he does have the pole tomorrow.
Well, that's not the reason why I picked him, though.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying he does have the pole, though.
There's another guy, and he races the 24. William Byron. And I just like his name. It's like I just every time I hear it, I want to just keep wanting to say Lord William Byron. Or Lord William Regal. I don't know, you know.
You gonna pick a winner because the colors are prettier too?
No. Maybe. But I don't, I'm just sitting there, but the reality is I don't think that I'm going to jump on with everybody else and go chase Elliott.
Okay.
Like, it seems a lot of people, not everybody, obviously because you're not everybody and you're going, I don't know yet.
Right.
But it gives me an opportunity to go, I want to see some of these new guys.
Yeah.
And I want to see what they're doing. Because I don't want to just pick Chase Elliott because everyone thinks that Chase Elliott is going to be the next hot thing. Because what I fear is that he gets the Dale Earnhardt Jr. syndrome, where everyone loves him, and he wins races, but he don't win the championships. I want a driver that wins championships.
Well,
and I want a driver that I know is going to be around for a very long time. Does that mean Chase Elliott is not going to be that guy? No, because Chase Elliott is going to be around forever.
Right.
Again. He's going to be another guy that's going to be racing there for probably another 20 to 30 years. He'll race until he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's still really young. Right now is kind of a weird period for guys like you and me at our age group because, whereas we as we were younger, we still had Dale Sr., and then we had the Jeff Gordons of the world as Richard Petty was kind of on his way out the door, and then, the Bobby Labanis, the Terry Labanis. We had those guys, and then we had Tony Stewart start to come into the picture with Joe Gibbs Racing, kind of put them on the map. And now it's, without Dale Sr. or Dale Jr.,
without a Labonte,
without a
Waltrip,
exactly.
Without a Petty. I mean,
there's the list is long, but I would love to see. I may not pick another permanent driver as of yet. You and I both know that we're fans of the sport just in general. It doesn't matter. So
like your uncle.
Yeah.
He went straight to Chase Elliott.
Oh yeah, well he was like, he's in the 24, perfect. Easy transition.
Yeah.
No, and that's how Uncle is, but he was a Rusty Wallace fan forever.
I hated Rusty Wallace. I don't think your uncle and I would have been. I know. You're looking at that. You know why I have that? You want to know why I have that? Hey, Linda, listen to me right here.
Listen. Hi.
Want to know why I have that?
Why?
Because I'm just a racing fan.
Okay.
It just happened to be there.
That's what we do.
And I didn't get it for anything.
That's what we do. I mean,
it was free.
We're fans.
Yeah.
So like I said, I may not actually pick a full-time driver. I'd like to see Jimmy Johnson win his 8th championship. Why not?
Break the record instead of tie the record.
You know what I mean?
Ryan Blaney, he starts 3rd. There's a name we don't talk about very often.
Blaney's name been in NASCAR for a long time.
How about Joey Logano?
Not a fan.
Not many people are. There's Kevin Harvick. I just talked about him. He'll be starting 6th.
Hate the fact that he's driving a Ford.
Darrell Wallace Jr. He drives a Chevy. I just happened to look. I was like, wait, was he driving? Yeah, He drives a Chevy. He's driving the 43.
There's a lot of these guys that we just don't know.
And he's Darrell Wallace.
Yes.
He's no relation.
Lord Darrell Wallace.
No. Eric Jones. He's driving the 20, the DeWalt.
Okay.
That's a Toyota, at least. Ford, Ricky Stenhouse. Clint Boyer. He's a Ford.
He let Danica Patrick get away. I can't roll with her. Big dummy.
He went to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's not a bad transition. Does that mean you're going to like Aaron Rodgers now?
I've always liked Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
If you don't like Aaron Rodgers, you don't like football.
How about Kurt Busch?
I've never really cared for him.
Kyle?
I like Kyle just because.
Because he's a jerk?
Yep.
Ryan Newman, we've heard his name forever. Austin Dillon, there's another one. He drives the 3.
The grandson of Richard Childress.
Uh-huh.
The only reason that they brought the number 3 out of retirement, which, I'm sorry. I don't know if I could have done it, but
That took a lot of the grapefruits.
Kahunas.
Yeah, they had it. Do you think you could like someone like that? He drives the number 3. Is it that bad? Is it that much of almost a slap in the face?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
You know that he basically did not want to do it. He basically had to ask everybody how they felt about it. He respectfully did it.
Yeah.
It's not like he slapped in the face of Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Right. No, I understand that.
He didn't jump on his grave. He didn't do anything like that.
No, I understand that. But, NASCAR fans are very faithful. So, it's hard to see anybody but Dale Sr. in a number 3 car.
Well, it's hard to see, but it's reality. So, I don't know. I'm kind of telling you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 2 guys, maybe a third, at least for the Daytona 500. That happens tomorrow. So we'll see. But a lot to be discussed and a lot to see how that goes on. See what goes on from there. It's back, Kyle. The McRib? No, not the McRib. McRib is not back, Kyle. But it's time to name that entrance music. I'm picking it this time.
Okay.
No, I won't pick the ukulele. Ding, 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 ding. No. We'll discuss it and we'll play it right after this on 209 Sports.
Some look up to the man of steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
Statistics say that 4 out of 10 high school students will drop out of high school, but sometimes the difference between dropping out and finishing is a boost.
I sort of got messed up into gangs, and there's one girl named Maria. She just told me to get my things straight, and ever since then she's been there for me.
10 real-life, at-risk students are filming their year, so you can see what it's really like trying to get through high school. Go to boostup.org to see their stories, and give someone you know a boost, so they can finish. High school is hard. Graduating is harder. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a survivor of mannequinism. Mannequinism is basically when you turn into a hard plastic shell. They say it's from not being politically active. For me, it started when I didn't register to vote, and then I stopped volunteering, and before I knew it, I wasn't doing anything. And that's when I found the first sign. A small, discolored hard patch of plastic on my right shoulder. I thought it would go away on its own, but it didn't. It kept spreading. And when I could no longer conceal it with a t-shirt, I knew I had to see the doctor. He said I had this early stage of mannequinism and that my only hope was to get involved, even if it was something simple. So I began reading the newspaper and instantly got feeling back in my arm. I guess you could say I'm living proof you can fight mannequinism.
Protect yourself from mannequinism. Log on to fightmannequinism.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
Yes, you are. And not only that, I'm Shady Jeff Domick. He is Kyle Howe. Thank you all very much for tuning in. So you're looking for, in our next segment, we're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber. And you're really looking forward to having an added entrant into the Elimination Chamber.
I am.
You really are. Without giving away too much, care to say why?
I like the wrestler. I think it's time, maybe not necessarily that he get
the push,
the full championship push again.
Kind of have a feeling where you're going with that. Okay.
But I think with the stature of who he is and the entertainer that he is, I definitely think he deserves to be there.
Is this wrestler? Does he have a big following?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of have an idea.
Okay.
I'm just picking your brain, making sure that I think I know where you're going with it, but at the same time, because we happen to tend to be a lot of times on a fairly similar page.
Yeah.
I might, you may be a skip ahead of me a little bit on the same page, or vice versa, but we're generally in that same area. Same area. So that's why I'm like, it's very rare we're reading a different book.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I can always be able. I'm able to jump from your book to Amy's book without a problem. You, on the other hand,
he's scared.
I just know how it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, JD Jeff Dominic is...
Who's Jeff Dominic?
Jeff Dominic. Jeff Dominic.
Well, that's what happens when you eat all them Jelly Bellies.
Shut up. You act like you didn't eat half the bag, too.
If I ate half the bag would be gone.
Oh, okay. Well, you ate 3/4 of the bag then.
Oh, wow. He just called me a fatty.
Did not?
Yes, you did. Might as well have. But anyways, you have your own book, and you're stuck on that one book for the rest of your life. Your wife has a book, too, and she at least tries to read your book occasionally. You, on the other hand, just kind of like, for whatever reason, my book, turn away and move on. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
All right. That's what I wanted to hear.
Always right.
That's right. That's right.
Jackass.
Except when it comes around your wife, then she's always right.
Yeah.
Because that part I'm scared of. I told you, I was scared of something. It just wasn't necessarily being on the same book. And we've got stories behind that, too. She asked you one question, and you went off on some other weird tangent.
So what?
And I had to bring you back. I brought you back. Because she was about to let it go. I brought you back and asked the one question, because apparently you heard me better than her.
Whatever, man. You sound awfully judgmental right now.
I don't have to be, because I know that everything I'm speaking is truth.
You speak the truth?
Truth. T-R-O-O-F.
Okay,
truth. So, but anyways, are you really looking forward to Elimination Chamber?
I really am.
You really are?
Yeah.
Okay.
On a couple different levels.
Do you have big expectations? Is that what I mean? Are you really setting your mind of big expectations?
I am, but maybe it's not for what you're thinking.
Okay. No, and that's fine. I don't want to give away anything, because this segment is for playing entrance musics. Try that one more time. Playing entrance music for certain wrestlers. But I am trying to get a gauge of what's to come over the next 40 minutes.
Okay.
So that's why I'm dissecting the next, actually really 25 minutes, because we got another segment that is going to be, I can't believe I actually said this, but it's actually going to be your choice.
Really?
Yeah. But we'll talk about that after wrestling.
Moving on up to the east side.
All right. I've had enough
I
of
like
that.
pie.
I love pie. I didn't have it ready, so that was your fault. I wasn't ready for that one.
Really? You're the one over there on the control board.
I have no... Do you want to come do this?
No.
Exactly, so shut up!
No!
So I have 10 songs that... Thank you to YouTube, who this show is run off of for now. Let's see if Kyle Howe can guess this wrestler's entrance theme. So it is done by Ryan Barkin. I hope I said that correctly. And that is not what I wanted.
What the Rock?
Hey, that's the Rock.
Is cooking.
So that one does not count. But at least you're getting an idea of what he can do.
Natalia?
Hang on. I want to get to at least where they're already doing... Here we go. I think this will be all right. Oh, come on! It's the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay.
We're not going to play this one, obviously.
Obviously.
Let's see where we're at.
Mankind.
Dang it!
Those are some hard ones because Mankind is.
That's Mankind. Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay. Now that I'm.
See, I'm so afraid to play them now because it's not what I expected.
Right. I got no idea. I
$1 Million Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't listen to other instruments. I mean, if you were to start playing the actual intro music, I would be able to tell you. You know, the actual stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this one you might get. Let me see if I can play it at the right spot. Listen. Come on, dude. It's softballing. I mean, like it is me trying to play softballing it up to you. Come on,
Hogan.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, you didn't catch any of that. Wow.
No, I can't. No, the piano is, or whatever that thing is.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. This one. Let me play this one a little further up. Here we go.
Undertaker?
That was John Cena. That one was John Cena. That one I was like, oh, he's got that one. No. How about this one? This one's hard. That was CM Punk.
Yeah, see?
That one was hard. I'll give you that one. And the only reason why I know is because obviously I'm looking at it. What else we got? Let's see. What is this one? There you go.
Undertaker.
That's the Undertaker. So there's one for you. I'll give you that one out of the 7 we've done. See, what is this? Oh, it's still Undertaker. Wow, they just let that one go, didn't they? They did. I happen to be just kind of like, oh, let's see this one a little bit further. What else we got? Yeah, they just played this one out. Son of a gun. Wow. I still think he did a good job. Well, I kind of stuck. I was guess the WWE theme. Let's just do this just because now we can. It's going to put me on a...
Want to find your perfect date?
I knew it would...
it all starts with the...
There we go. Let's just wait for this to finish off. There we go. We can skip the ad. How much time we got? I got a couple minutes. So guess the theme song, Kyle. We'll just make them easy on you now because these should be regular. Good job. Okay.
But when rules start getting
AJ Styles.
Okay. See, this is easy, huh? You know what the next one's gonna be. I think you already heard part of it.
Chris Jericho.
Okay. Come on.
Oh my God, my mind just went totally blank right now.
He hasn't wrestled in a while. That's part of the reason. He's a little bit of a lunatic. He's on the fringe of
Dean
it sometimes.
Ambrose.
There
Okay,
you go.
Jesus Christ.
I hate those ones because when they're right in front of you, the old ones you're like, all right, cool. The ones that you see on a regular basis, but you don't see them, you haven't seen them for a while. Shane, there you go.
Money talk. Here comes the money. You're talking no matter. Dollar can
Bling bling.
Stop it. Here comes the new kid on the block.
Got a couple more here for you. The Shield. That's the Shield. Yeah, I'll give you that. Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's what they wanted. You know this one? You got to know this one.
Becky Lynch.
Nope.
Sami
You are
Zayn.
wrong. Yes. can't believe you actually went there. I cannot believe you actually said Becky Lynch. Sorry, sir. The answer we're looking for is Mick Foley. What? This one you should know. Ooh. Nerds!
Really? Is that Carl Anderson with Gallows? Yeah. We came to conquer any lie.
Fight Owens fight.
Yeah, I'm like.
And to be fair, just in case anybody is we're done with it. Just in case anybody was curious, I would actually look at you before the answer comes up because I want you to say the answer, and then I would rebuttal, and then I would look to see what the answer was. So I wasn't the last few parts. I was not cheating.
He wasn't completely cheating, folks.
Nope, just when I wanted to. But anyways, when we come back, as we were talking about just a few moments ago, it is Elimination Chamber next weekend. Well, it's what do we want to see? What do we need to see during that pay-per-view in order to set our interest towards WrestleMania, at least on the Raw side? Because SmackDown has their own coming up as with Fastlane.
For now.
So it brings and bears the question, what are we looking forward to, at least to see what Raw is going to bring?
Okay.
We'll discuss it next, 209 Sports.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
In a world where your tires are your only connection to the road, one man, 4 tires, free air. An epic battle against underinflation, tire damage, and even tire failure. In the ultimate fight for properly inflated tires, the warrior gives his heart, his soul, to keep those he loves safe on the road. Tires will inflate. Money will be saved. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
I know. Being a college freshman is supposed to be tough, but let me tell you about my schedule this semester. All 18 credits. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have American Lit at 8:05 a.m. And then I only have 15 minutes to get to my 9:15 Ethics and Value Theory class, all the way across campus. Then in the afternoon, Calculus 1. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 2 lectures that go through lunch, Sociology of Families, then Intro to Microbiology. Pre-med. And finally, I have a double lab that ends around 9 p.m. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
If a kid will do whatever it takes to get through college, what will you do to send her there? Please support the United Negro College Fund and call 1-800-332-UNCF, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A public service brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Biff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
Some look up to the Man of Steel and others follow the lines in the web. But I look up to my real-life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms, I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
So, Kyle, am I overstepping my bounds when I say that you have no interest in this WWE new game, WWE Mayhem?
I don't.
Why is that? Is it because you just don't get it?
It's because it frustrated me.
How?
Because I couldn't advance anywhere.
You know that makes no sense, right?
Makes plenty of sense. I got frustrated with it, so I didn't play it. No, I took it off my phone.
That makes absolutely nonsense.
Nonsense?
Nonsense. Story of your life, though, right?
Pretty much.
We are back! We are back!
Jim Carrey.
Huh?
Who was that?
That was from The Hangover.
Oh. My bad.
Yeah.
Sounded like Jim Carrey.
Well, it sounded like you were way off.
That too.
Yep. So, well, we left last segment talking about what our expectations are of the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
WrestleMania is a little more than a month and a half away, roughly.
Okay.
Give or take, I think actually about a week. I think it was, 7 weeks or 8, what are we looking at? About 7 weeks away?
Yeah.
Give or take, once again, as I just said.
Well, no, it'll be 8.
It's like first week of April or second week of April, right?
No, it's not actually.
A little later?
I think it is later.
They've been making it later and later, so that's why it kind of throws me off. Because when I went for WrestleMania 32, it was like March 29th or something like that. I have it on a sweatshirt or on a shirt. That's why I've kind of have it factored in my head
somewhere.
But this next couple of pay-per-views all have to set up for what is up and coming of this next WrestleMania. And the Elimination Chamber, obviously, because Shinsuke Nakamura won it for the SmackDown brand, it kind of sets up what the main event's going to be. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Which has
ideally.
Ideally. It'll be co-main evented, but yes.
Right. It bears in question on what is going to be Raw's main event.
Okay.
Obviously, unfortunately, the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion Brock Lesnar will be there. Defending, though, against who? An Elimination Chamber is going to set up a lot of things. It needs to, right? The last couple of weeks have been pretty lackluster, and I'm actually being friendly when I say that.
You're being very friendly when you say that.
They've been probably the worst writing I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
All things considered, and I haven't been happy with WWE. I thought the WWE got a lot of things right with the Royal Rumble, but I thought that what they could have done afterwards really just kind of has been a letdown.
It kind of took the wind out of the sails, is what it did.
And we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That if you don't do something now, we're going to lose interest. The people, fans are going to always be fans.
Right.
But the losing of interest, because now, what am I more excited about? Am I more excited about the Elimination Chamber, or am I excited about watching Daytona 500 or baseball that weekend?
Right. No, you and I are definitely on the same page as far as that goes. My expectations from the Elimination Chamber are this. First of all, I feel that the women's evolution,
I'm looking forward to this match, by the way,
have really taken a hold of the reins.
Yeah.
As far as saving, and I mean that, saving some of these pay-per-views over the past year or so. Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks in the Hell in a Cell match. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that the women have done that have really upped the bar for the women, but have really kind of saved the shows lately. I see a lot of different angles as far as which way they could go out of this elimination chamber. They still don't expect Dean Ambrose back for a little bit more time.
Yeah, he won't be back for WrestleMania. Or he may be back by WrestleMania, but I doubt he's going to be.
He's not going to be involved. The rumors are that he's turning heel, but I see an opportunity to. They're going to push Roman Reigns again. Rumor is that Brock Lesnar's done after WrestleMania. His contract's up.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Rumor is he's going back to UFC.
Thank goodness.
So Roman Reigns will get his push and get his win at WrestleMania. Set up.
That would be twice. Isn't it twice then he's won at WrestleMania, and then I think both times have been against Brock Lesnar?
No, he lost against Brock Lesnar. He lost to Brock Lesnar.
In WrestleMania 32, right?
Yes,
and then
at Santa Clara.
Because that's when Seth Rollins came in, cashed in Money in the Bank, and won that. That's 100% true.
Did he beat it from Brock Lesnar? Yes.
If that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah. But, yeah.
And then Seth ran for a little while, and then lost it after his knee.
So I see a few things that they could do. They can do the Finn Balor, Seth Rollins rivalry, set that up.
Okay.
And push it. Roman Reigns walks out of the WrestleMania champion. You got a 3-way coming up. Is it going to separate the two healthy members of the Shield? There's a lot of things that I see. Whether or not the WWE does it and pulls the trigger and gets it done is another thing coming. I think that at some point Braun Strowman has to win the title.
It irritates me to no end that you have what you consider the quote-unquote monster. I did this again.
Yeah.
But I think I'm doing it okay with doing it in the different spots. So probably the people that have listened to this show, they didn't listen to the whole thing, so maybe they just heard me do it for the very first time. But anyways, they put him as the monster.
Yes.
And he's lifting semi-trucks and putting a stage
over
on
ambulances and yes.
So if you're doing all this, and I get Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, but he has to. If you've got a guy that can do more than what Brock Lesnar can do, he's got to win.
Right.
And with that 3-way, okay, makes a lot of sense on how he loses. That's fine. But you've got to start pushing it to where either he's going to win or he's not. And you got to start making him something else.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then why did you push him for the last 2 months?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, he's quickly becoming a babyface.
Yeah.
I mean, he's becoming a fan favorite. And a lot of that is due part to where they've screwed him. Yeah. Not necessarily screwed him, but they have. He hasn't won a belt. So he hasn't been able to be that jerk once you get the belt. Nobody can take it from me. You know what I mean?
Right.
He hasn't gotten a chance to do that.
And he's going to be that once he wins it.
He may or may not be.
So here's the question now. So the way that you're kind of going, I've got so many different scenarios. Who's coming out of this then? Is this going to be the day that the day of the Roman Empire comes back again? People are going to hate that. People are absolutely going to flip the snot out.
I think you're right. And that's so to me.
You need to ride in the Shield for a little while again. You really haven't.
You haven't at all. And so I think that I'd like to see Braun Strowman come out of it and finally get his winning push
into
WrestleMania to take the belt.
So he's finally going to win it, and it's going to be the grandmother of them all.
Yeah,
at WrestleMania. So he wins the belt. Then where were you going with the Roman Reigns scenario? Do you think that he has the opportunity? Is he your plan B to win the Elimination Chamber, and then we just know that he's probably going to win WrestleMania now?
Yeah, I think so. The reports are out there that he's going to get this other push, and they still don't know what they're doing. That's just it. For the first time in a long time, the WWE doesn't know what they're going to do with a lot of these guys.
It was really weird over last year because here you have Roman Reigns claiming his now yard, and the fact that he just beat The Undertaker.
Yeah.
If it kind of makes me wonder, because we talked about this earlier, a few weeks ago, where you were like, well, The Undertaker's done, kind of had that kind of idea, and I kind of wonder, he's never done for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So for Elimination Chamber, could he come back and screw over Roman Reigns and say, "Hey, I want a do-over on this," and that's match number?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't.
If Taker was going to be back, we would think that he would already be.
He'll make an appearance at Elimination Chamber or the Monday night after.
As a wrestler, or just as The Undertaker?
Just as The Undertaker, and here, I'm picking my match, and I'm letting everybody know right now. Because he's done that in the past, too.
Yeah.
He'll either show up at the pay-per-view leading up to WrestleMania, or the Monday Night Raw after, and he makes his match. You know what I mean? I've seen him, we've seen him do it over the years, where he comes back from basically out of nowhere, and he picks his match. And there it is.
Who comes out of the women's one? Is that more wide open than this one?
I think it is, because the title's on the line.
Yeah.
Are you going to send Alexa Bliss into WrestleMania with the belt? Are you going to send her into WrestleMania, the first woman to win the Elimination Chamber? Because keep in mind, Asuka's not involved in this Elimination Chamber.
Correct.
So, and neither is Nia Jax. Nia Jax, who you and I are hoping gets a very big push before long, is facing Asuka. So,
because I think if Asuka loses, I don't know.
If Asuka loses, then Nia Jax gets to be a triple threat match for the title at WrestleMania.
That'll be interesting,
right?
I don't know.
Possibilities. There are a lot of possibilities, but I got a feeling that the women are going to really turn it up, and because they've been doing such a phenomenal job, that I'm really just stoked and looking forward to it.
It'll be interesting. I think we'll talk about it if we get another show in here between now and then. We'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. But this coming up, it's Kyle's choice. Do we want to hear baseball? Want to hear basketball? Kyle, give me an answer now.
Basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
That threw me off. We'll talk about it more when we come back. 209 Sports.
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see.
Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian, whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
Some look up to the Man of Steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real-life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms, I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
How can we help prepare our kids for the future? Hi, this is Roger McGuinn.
These days, our children face challenges unimaginable to us only a generation ago. We adults need to help our kids find something in school that really sparks their interest and keeps them involved. If that something happens to be music, the child will benefit in so many ways. Playing music in school is a great way to make friends. Studies are showing that kids involved in music are less likely to get into trouble. And kids who studied music find science and math easier to grasp. They tend to score higher on SATs. It has something to do with something called spatial IQ. So get your kids involved with school music. It's a great way to help prepare them for life.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
I'm Amila Lee, guard for the UOP women's basketball team. You're listening to 209 Sports.
So Kyle's enjoying watching some monster trucks, and Scooby-Doo just lost an ear. Am I right? Yeah.
Oh.
So he's watching that on one of the many monitors here in the Dominic Studios. I am JD Jeff Dominic. He is Kyle Hauk. Thank you all very much for tuning in. This last week has been really weird, and per your choice, I actually gave you an opportunity to talk baseball, because baseball be very, very good to me. Yeah. Or basketball, college basketball, and you actually picked college basketball.
Yes.
Very, very impressed. I really am. I thought that this was going to be an opportunity to really just let loose again on baseball, because we were talking about pitchers and catchers reporting. A lot to talk about. Some signings here recently. A lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
But you really wanted to go to college basketball, which I had stories for both, so I was ready to go.
You good?
I was good.
You good?
This is one of the. Did you realize that this was the 5th time this season that 3 top 25 teams lost all on one day? That happened on Thursday.
Really?
Purdue was one of them. There was a couple and 2 others. I don't remember them off the top of my head. I apologize, but I just remember Purdue was one of the leading ones, and they lost someone like Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's how it's gone down this year.
So it's the 5th time.
Yeah.
I think it happened only 4 times last season.
Well, I want to say earlier in the year, like the 3 of the top 5 teams lost on the same day.
Right.
Once or twice.
Very possible.
Yes.
It's been a really interesting, and because I can't say weird, because weird doesn't do it justice. It's been an interesting, because it's piqued my interest.
Yes.
This season, college basketball. And just to let you know, other than Nevada is a top 25 school. They're actually ranked 24th. They did win their game today. Tennessee, who's ranked 18th, they're losing to Georgia. West Virginia is top 20, but they're beating Kansas, who's top 15. They're actually 13th. So there's that. Oklahoma is a top 25 school. They lose to Texas today.
Wow.
Auburn loses today, and they're 10th. They lose to South Carolina. Texas A&M loses today, and they're 21st. They lose to Arkansas. About the only other one the only one that really wasn't an upset was Villanova. They're ranked 3rd. They beat Xavier, who is 4th. That's what's gone down today.
Yeah. That's how the whole season's been.
That's what's gone down today.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the story I had for you. That's just happened to be the highlight of what I was going to talk about, was that it's what happened on Thursday carried over to today.
Right.
That is insane. And we were talking about it off air. The fact that about this time, we started to kind of figure, okay, these 4 teams are going to be your number ones.
Yeah.
This year, not so much.
No,
not at all. So it's been interesting. It's definitely piqued my interest, because this is about that time I start to really indulge in college basketball.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I do at least somewhat decent in my brackets.
Sure.
So how we're going to do our brackets this season, Kyle.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and get Mark involved in this. You know, the guy that thinks that he may show up every now and then, has not shown up at all.
We're going to call him out on there. That's what we're going to do right now.
That's what we do.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah.
And we're the 3 best friends that anybody could have. We're the 3 best friends that anyone could have. We're the 3 best friends that anyone could have. And we'll never, ever, 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 ever leave each other.
So,
I feel like the 3rd is not even shown up yet.
Nope. Bummer, right? I said Nevada wins. They have not won yet, but they're up comfortably, 87-75.
Okay.
In the second half, Tennessee is up 51 or down 51-57. So just making sure, and West Virginia is up 28-48. I don't know if I'd call that one an upset yet. At 20 versus a 13, it's just is what it is. But it's so different to not have an idea. I think that Villanova is probably my biggest number one right now. Like if I was to guess on who maybe your number ones, I think Villanova is that number one. But after that, I'm kind of going, I don't know, because it's not like I can pick Duke or I can't pick Kentucky. I can't pick Kansas.
You can't pick North Carolina.
Can't pick North Carolina. Last year's champion.
You know?
So it's kind of one of those things where I don't know who to root for. I think that I'm really pushing for Nova for a while. I don't think they'll win the. I think Michigan State is my other one. Like they're number 2 right now, and they're winning. And if they can run out and they win their championship, I think they'll be fine. They'll be a 1.
Well, with all the controversy circulating Michigan State and their coaching staffs or the coaches. It'll be real interesting to see how they deal with that.
Oh, Cincinnati lost the other day. That's one of the other ones. They're ranked 5th. So I just happened to look down.
But Cincinnati's always that team when you get to the tournament.
They disappear.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
No, the past couple of years they haven't. They had the 3 from the corner to get,
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually, I wouldn't say a Cinderella story, but they
won't be this year.
They advance on Cinderella type plays.
They'll probably be like a number 3 seed this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Number
3, Purdue, maybe number 2, but Purdue will be a number 2.
Yep.
I'm thinking that's where they'll be. Texas Tech will be. Oh, Ohio State was the other one that lost. They lost to Penn State.
Oh,
again.
Really?
They've lost to them twice this year.
And they just lost to. Who was it? I want to say Wisconsin. Was it Wisconsin or?
I think Purdue is the one that lost to Wisconsin.
Okay.
So those were the 3 and they were all in top 10. So here's your AP top 25 right now. Top 9. I just got that right here in front of me. Virginia, Michigan State, Villanova, Xavier, Cincinnati, Purdue, Texas Tech, Ohio State, Gonzaga. Those teams are going to change after this week because some of them are losing again, but some of them will just. After that, those records are just kind of going to change. Gonzaga, I think, will be a number 2 or number 3 again this year.
Yeah. I
see 2, but we'll see how it kind of plays out.
They'll end up a 3 just because of the conference they're coming out of.
Yeah, and they lost to St. Mary's. If they were to run the table and have been undefeated, it might have been a different story.
Right.
But they also have played teams like Florida, who was ranked at the time.
Right.
So they've played good teams and beaten good teams. So they may be a 2 or a 3. But I say Virginia's is going to probably be as of right now would be a 1. I think Michigan State, but the one that kind of throws me off is actually probably I've got 3 now, and so now the next one would be you can't put Xavier up there. They just lost. Cincinnati just lost. Purdue just lost. Texas Tech maybe. Ohio State no. Gonzaga. So you can't. Are you going to put them as a number 1? See, that's where I'm at with this. So you've got so many different ways that this could actually go.
Right.
It all will determine what happens during the tournaments when they come up in. Well, WCC starts next weekend. No, the weekend after next. Sorry.
Okay.
Only reason why I figured I had to correct myself, I just realized because that's when my triple header is. I'll be doing basketball, then baseball, and baseball. So
okay.
And softball somewhere in between. So I won't be doing anything with softball other than probably holding the camera. But still, that's what I do with basketball anyways. I'm used to it. Baseball, I'll be on the air, so I'll be excited. But, that's another day.
My nerdometer just went off.
I know, right? I geeked out. Yay! But anyways. So, when you look at a team like this, and you talk about the Michigan State situation, nothing's going to happen. I don't think anything will happen throughout this rest of the season.
Okay.
At least the season. So, you factor it all in. By mid-April, nothing will happen.
Okay.
There'll still be the investigation. And even if that happens, I don't think... Like, let's say they win the championship. Let's say they win it all. Will they vacate? I mean, can you really vacate somebody that really... There isn't really... there's a case there, but it doesn't involve anything that... Like,
doesn't involve academic cheating, right?
Yeah. And it's not like they did a recruiting violation unless it somehow shows something like Louisville. There was a recruiting, violation and stuff like that. But so they can't really vacate.
Well, the NCAA can do what they need to.
Oh yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Right.
I know that, but I'm just saying, do you really do that to those athletes? Because at that point, I start looking at the athletes. The athletes are there because they committed to that school. It's not like they did.
I think it depends largely on what comes out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The reports are there, the investigation's there. What truth comes out determines the type of punishment.
Who loses their job in Michigan State if something happens? If something kind of all of a sudden shows up?
Top to bottom.
All gone?
For the ones that haven't...
Mike D'Antoni, the football coach, everybody?
For the ones that have not already quit, the rest of them are gone.
Do you think the guys that have quit know that they're guilty, or just like, hey, I don't want wiping my hands clean. I don't want to be any part of this situation because I had nothing to do with it.
I think both. Not everybody's involved. Not everybody's guilty of anything, but there are those ones that are like, I'm not getting. No,
I'll go to another school and I will go.
Matter of fact, I'll just quit. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be involved in it. They don't.
Do you blame them?
No.
No, I mean, it was a dumb question, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, well, I was more or less just kind of saying, hey, I don't blame them. Do you?
That's a clown question, bro.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all, folks.
So, I don't know. You wanted to get into this. Was there anything you wanted to add to the NCAA basketball, or is it...
No,
were you very surprised on how things have planned out, and has that piqued your interest even more? And Trae Young has just been
Trae Young's been kind of all over the map, really. I mean,
he said,
I don't think he's ready for the NBA.
He's going to go to the NBA.
I understand that, but he's not ready for it. But whatever.
He's Buddy Hield. He's the next guy. But he actually just said something on ESPN. He said that he's been guarded like nobody else.
Oh yeah. And
of course, when you're before conference play, when you're averaging 40 points a game, hello.
Well, it all started with Auburn.
Yeah.
The way Auburn came in and they trapped him all game. They double teamed him from the inbound to the half court, and they trapped him. And they defended him and they set a blueprint for what needs to be done. And several teams have managed to go in and do that same type of play and have shut him down.
So it was just today too. It was probably no more than a few moments ago. Jake Trotter of ESPN, he's a staff writer, was talking about Trae Young, and I know that I just hit pause to not have any volume go on. And I'll do it again because apparently it doesn't hear. He basically said, I'm getting guarded like nobody else in the country is being guarded. Scouted on like no one else in the country. And my computer just decided to freeze up. So apparently that's all you're getting out of that conversation.
Well, that just left a fine window on our outro.
Yeah, apparently. So apparently it told me that the time is done, which means we are done. We did it. 3 hours. No problem.
No, we're good.
No problem. We good.
It's good.
And I know I'm going to lose my outro here in just a second because... Oh, I was going to say, no, I didn't. But I do want to say this. Let's go ahead and say bye, Felicia. Where are you at?
Bye, Felicia.
Thank you.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig. And we'll go back to our outro. Apparently someone wanted to leave. I'm not saying who, but apparently his name is Kyle Hauk.
I ain't been home since 6:30 this morning.
Me. It's all right. Your wife is happy about that. Anyways, we'll be back sometime soon.
Probably
Stay
this
on
week.
209 Sports Facebook page. We'll be able to kind of let you all know. For Kyle Hauk, I'm JD Jeff Dominic. Have a great rest of your evening. 209 Sports, but also don't forget Pacific Basketball tonight, 8 o'clock, Santa Clara at the Alex G. Spano Center.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a survivor of mannequinism. Mannequinism is basically when you turn into a hard plastic shell. They say it's from not being politically active. For me, it started when I didn't register to vote, and then I stopped volunteering, and before I knew it, I wasn't doing anything. And that's when I found the first sign. A small, discolored hard patch of plastic on my right shoulder. I thought it would go away on its own, but it didn't. It kept spreading. And when I could no longer conceal it with a t-shirt, I knew I had to see